two figures rushed through the forest. The woman persistently pursued the man. The man said irritably that this damn woman was like an annoying ghost and wouldn't leave him alone. The woman delivered a powerful blow with her sword and inflicted a serious wound on the fugitive. She stopped in front of him. And then she asked, when he destroyed her life, did he even think for a moment that such an end would come? Today, it was her turn to be the executioner, and he, the pitiful victim on the cutting table. The woman struck him with the sword again. The man thought with regret. Why the hell did he end up in the game world at this particular moment? Heaven Beyond is a wuxia game with crazy freedom of action, where you can do almost anything. You play it, and it's as if you yourself become a hero of the fighting world. As if you live here. After he completed the game for the first time, in his second playthrough, he started out perfectly as the villain from the capital. Why did he suddenly become his own character? And precisely at the moment when Yin Ting Shui became the holy maiden of the demonic sect. She was once the daughter of Prince Shang, who was accused of having ties to a demonic sect. He was stripped of his title, his property confiscated, and he was exiled. And Ting Shui, according to the law, broke the bridge of immortality. The cultivation point, some strange transference, an absurd death, and now he found himself in such a fascinating world. Is it really that outrageous? Just to die at the very beginning? Suddenly he found himself in some room. After looking himself over, he cursed. This was the appearance he had created himself in the character editor. He went into the game menu and looked at the character information and his current stats. To get the maximum benefit from the start, he became a dirty puppet. He took bribes, broke the law, and committed lawlessness. Because of that same Dowager Empress, he was poisoned with a rare poison. The difficulty level was set to the maximum, and he only had 3 years left to live. At the very beginning of the game, he acquired a combat technique called the snake crushing method. It's in place. It looks like only 10 game hours have passed. In the game, that's a month of time. Suddenly, he froze. A month had passed. A servant ran into the room and addressed him as Mr. Chen, reminding him that it was time to go and search the property. The place where they came seemed familiar to him. He suddenly remembered. This was the prince's palace. The servant reported that several personal cultivators were locked in the dungeon, all immobilized, acupuncture points blocked. Chen thought he was now at the beginning of the save. If he followed the old script, he needed to break Yin Ting Shui's bridge of immortality. But then, after the confiscation of the princely property, one of the giants of the demonic path, the Light and Darkness sect, appeared in the capital and saved Yin Ting Shui. You can't step on the same rake again. You need to come up with something new. Chen remembered that Yin Ting Shui was the daughter of Prince San's main wife. Her mother had died 3 years ago, and before her death, she asked her to become a good person. Yin Ting Shui was alone in a locked room. She thought sadly that this nightmare was happening again. Guards in dark clothes were cruelly destroying her bridge of immortality. According to the laws of the Great Yu, all children whose families were confiscated have their bridge of immortality destroyed, cutting off their path to cultivation and immortality. Is it really true that she cannot escape this fate? Chen burst into the room. Yin Ting Shui looked at him with fear. He smiled and said that they had finally met. Ting Shui asked, "Is it him? Does he really want to destroy her bridge of immortality?" The service message showed that she was experiencing negative emotions. She asked if he knew who she was. Chen replied that of course. Prince Xiang had colluded with the Light and Darkness sect, and his daughter was born in his house. The former patriarch will appoint her as a holy virgin of purity, and as soon as she gets married, she will have to go to the sect. Ting Sui asked how he knew all this, but Chen replied that it was not important. What was important was what he should do with her now. She angrily declared that he had destroyed her canals, exterminated her entire family, and that he was a cruel and merciless bastard. Chen responded by saying that she was just a toy in his hands. Ting Sui shouted that even if she were dead, she would not allow such a beast in human form to achieve his goal. Her negative emotions grew. Chen said she had no choice and threw her onto the bed, her negative emotions reaching 60 points. He added that if it weren't for him, the demonic sect would have already taken her away, made her their holy virgin, and she would have come out into the world. Ting Sui shouted at him not to come near her. Chen asked if she really wanted to become the holy maiden of demons, kill innocents, and fool her believers. Ting Sui said that it was still better than living humiliated. enduring shame and swallowing grievances. Chen said that she wanted to appear before the prince's late wife with such a face. Tingsui asked in surprise, "How does he know this?" She remembered how her mother told her that she should be kind and good. Chen, bending over her, said that he knew more about her than she thought. Her title of Holy Virgin of Purity could cost the heads of everyone in the Xiang house. Tingsui said that she really had no other choice. She added that now she is his. Chen stood up with a solemn expression on his face. Tingsui asked in surprise, "Didn't he want a candlelit wedding night?" Chen replied, "Why did she think he was so eager for this wedding night? Did she really think that the officer of the Western Chamber had problems with women?" He thought to himself that it was only a matter of time before he devoured her. Now it was much more important to break her. Tingsui weakly said that she was his now. Chen grinned. "And what's next? This little one. She's going to continue calling him by his name." Tingsui whispered, "Sir." Chen received a message that negative emotions reached 80. The yin-yang technique of hostility was activated. Activation gives plus 7 years of true energy. Chen thought that he now had 20 years of true energy, which was enough to learn the snake-crushing method. However, after learning it, he will not be able to replenish energy quickly. It is better to first master the technique that allows him to absorb true energy. Chen smiled sweetly at Tingsui, who asked fearfully what he was going to do. He asked her to hand over the Great Star Absorption Method technique, and if she cooperated, she would not be harmed. Tingsui said that she had learned the technique completely, word for word, and Chen demanded that she recite it. The rotation of the stars and the shifting of the worlds. The sky and the earth are transparent and empty. Light and darkness separate 2 worlds, 2 schools, 3 facets. Chen set the learning speed to 100%. Year 1, you started to master the star absorption method. You needed to concentrate, but the essence eluded you. Year 3, in solitude, you first discovered the essence of this technique. But because of the incomplete version, the energy was interrupted. There was no breakthrough. Year 5, you have delved into the ancient scriptures, partially filling in the missing parts. You have finally learned to absorb qi. Year 10, the star absorption method has reached the initial stage, but the technique is still not complete. It will take time to complete. Chen has mastered the Great Star Absorption method. Incomplete version, beginner level. He grinned. Even if the method was incomplete, it would do for now. He began to pour in true energy, and he began to study the snake-crushing technique. After 3 years, you realized how to cut precisely into the snake's weak spot. The technique reached the basic level. Over the past 6 years, technology has advanced significantly and has reached a stage of completion. Another step up. 10 years later, you have grasped the essence of the snake-crushing strike and perfected the technique, Chen said with satisfaction. "It's ready." He told Tingsui to put on a headscarf and said that he would take her out of here. She asked what he was up to. They left the prince's palace. Chen led Tingsui along. He stated that he would take the maid to the office for questioning, and the others should continue the confiscation. However, the guard standing at the entrance asked him if he really thought he was blind. He shouted to the others that there was no need to let that trash Chen Baihu snatch everything. They also needed to taste the fresh meat. He shouted that he had heard of him. He was Chen Baihu from the Western Chancellery. He was known for his extravagance, corruption, and false skills. Chen replied mockingly that it was obvious that a relative of the imperial family had managed to fit so many idioms into one sentence. The guard stated that it was against the rules to interrogate a criminal without permission. He ordered Chen to hand over the criminal to him and to get out of here. Tingsui said that karma had caught up with him. Chen said that the Western Chancellery has the right to act outside the Eastern Chancellery. He is Baihu. By what rules? He dares to stop him. The guard replied that everyone knew what he was worth and advised him not to get upset and not to spoil the relationship. Chen said, "How formidable." But he didn't expect that a person from the demonic sect had managed to infiltrate the ranks of the imperial guards. The guard frowned and asked how he knew that. Chen stated that he had no intention of exposing him, but since he had come into his hands himself, he would not refuse. The man from the demonic sect drew his sword and rushed towards Chen along with his accomplices, but all their blows were in vain. Chen had disappeared somewhere. The man from the demonic sect shouted, "Stop hiding! Let him come out immediately!" Chen suddenly appeared next to him and asked. He, with his pathetic tricks, was also aiming at him. He carried out an attack, and all of the cult man's accomplices were defeated. He was amazed. Why was it so fast? Could it really be the snake-crushing technique of the official Min Qianhu? Chen said ominously. Since the qi itself came into his hands, he would gladly accept it, and he sucked all the life energy out of his opponent. Ting Sui thought with horror. This man is a real monster. Where is that weakling from the rumors? The pretend master with fake techniques? Chen approached her and asked, after all, she was gloating just recently, wasn't she? Ting Sui didn't know what to say to him. Chen pulled her close and told her that she should not forget that she now belonged to him. Ting Sui asked sadly, why is he mocking her like that? Her negative emotions grew. Chen received another 3 years of true energy. A girl with blue hair stood in front of Prince Xiang's palace. She looked over the battlefield and said, the entire line was killed with one blow. Lightning fast, precise, powerful. This technique is similar to her snake-crushing method. Could it be Chen Yi? But he only stole this art a month ago. How could he master it so quickly? We need to check his origins. If everything is clear with him, we can take him with us to intercept the survivors from the demonic sect. The very same Chen Yi she was talking about. These words were spoken by a girl in a revealing outfit. She added that she remembers him. The blue-haired girl asked her sister to check on him. There was clearly something wrong with him. Don't underestimate him. She called her Ninger and said that this was the first time she saw a man interested in her and that she didn't miss him too much. Ninger said that she was too frivolous. Even though he was handsome, it was just tinsel, appearance without substance. In any case, she asks her not to miss this matter, and she herself returns. The girl in revealing clothes thought that since he was from the Jianghu world, today she would dress up properly and see what kind of man he was. Shen relaxed while taking a bath. He looked at the technique he found at the auction. It looked like it was also an artifact of the demonic sect. Whether he should pour all his qi into this technique. Suddenly, he heard some sounds coming from the window. He asked sternly who was there. Grabbing the sword, he ran out of the hut and shouted, whoever is messing with his head here, let them come out immediately. A charming beauty came out into the courtyard. She said she thought she saw him in a brothel. After all, he was also one of her patrons. She invited him to come into the room and talk there. Chen asked if she really wanted to go inside with him. She replied that it was only for one night, even if she paid for it herself. Chen said that since she was the one asking, he would not refuse. The beauty smiled charmingly and said that he was so impatient. The night is long, so there is no need to be so rude. Chen stated that there would be a price to pay for the seduction attempt. He used a special technique on her and obtained information about her. Her name was Min Min, and she had accumulated alien true energy equivalent to 10 years of cultivation for an ordinary person. Min Min with soft sword technique. Chen thought, shouldn't she be at the 100-Flower Pavilion undercover as a singer right now? Min Min called him Chen Bai Hu and asked him to spare her. She did not come with evil intentions. She came here herself because she heard that Chen Baihu had taken a beautiful maid from the prince's residence and decided to come and take a look. Chen stated that if you enter someone else's home without reason, according to the laws of the Great Yu, the owner can kill you on the spot, without any investigation. Min Min said that she was unable to defend herself. Her life was in his hands. She was asking for mercy. She was ready to become his wife, even if without marriage. Chen asked mockingly. She thinks she can lure him into a trap with her beauty, but she didn't think that he was completely uninterested in her. She only has looks, and she trades them at every step, and this devalues herself. She thinks that achieving them is some kind of problem. Min Min's negative emotions reached 80, and the yin-yang enmity method was activated. Chen received true energy. Min Min asked what he wanted from her. Chen said he didn't care where she was from. He told her to leave and not interfere in his life anymore. A menacing cry came from the street. Chen Baihu. Chen went outside and asked Min Xianhu why she had come to see him. And she asked him if he had seen the singer from the Tower of 100 Flowers. He said there was no need to worry. She was fine. Right here she was. He added that she asked him to tame her, but he did not agree. Min Qianhu drew her sword and declared that if he dared to harm the relatives of his comrades, he would be punished and stripped of his position. She said that she would deal with it herself later. But for now, she had a task for him. Prince Xiang conspired with the demonic sect. They have already captured the leader, but the remnants of the sect are in the capital. He must gather people and go with her. Chen asked, The remnants of the demon sect, they can't be forgiven for this. He remembered that in the heavens beyond the world, the first dungeon was cleansing from evil and exorcising demons in the prayer temple. Mount Yinjian and the Supreme Purity sect founded a temple together to drive out demons from the Great Yu capital. If we estimate the time, it should start any minute. The sect disciples whispered about what was wrong with Teacher Zhou today, but she didn't say a word and immediately went to the tea house. Shibo arrived in the capital ahead of schedule, and as soon as she stood up, she immediately looked in that direction, as if she was waiting for someone. Could it be that a genius cultivator with a special destiny has appeared here? The senior protector of the Light and Darkness sect asked Chen what brought the respected brother Zhang Ming here. Chen replied that he had brought the brothers specifically to see them off. Previously, he had given them money for drinks. Now it was their duty to ensure their safe departure. The elder asked if it was too loud and visible. Chen said that the Eastern Chancellery is currently in a state of unrest, and there are rumors that they are going to be arrested. But if the Western Chancellery takes this upon itself, will the Eastern Chancellery dare to interfere? Since we have started, we need to accompany Buddha all the way to the west. The elders said that he was honored that the respected brother Zhang Min personally came to see them off. Chen asked if the elder would invite him for a cup of tea. The elder said that he almost forgot, invited them to the table and began pouring tea. But Chen stopped him and stated that since he had come to see him off, he was the one to leave. It would be fair if he were the one to pour him tea. The elder thanked him and drank a cup of tea. A ship arrived that was supposed to take the sect members away. The elder thanked Brother Zhang Ming for seeing him off and said that the boat had already arrived and it was time for them to go. Chen wished them a safe journey. The sect members headed towards the ship, but the elder suddenly felt ill and fell down. He screamed, "Damn it, there's poison in the tea!" Chen grabbed him by the hair, and with a quick blow of his sword, he cut his head off his shoulders. He shouted, "Why is the Western Chancellery still standing? They must destroy the evil along with it." The soldiers froze, not understanding what was happening. But Min Xianhu ordered them to follow Chen Baihu and destroy the remnants of the sect. She led the soldiers into battle. A fierce battle ensued. Meanwhile, Chen absorbed 60 years of Elder Li Shengling's profound energy. But then a warrior with a club attacked him. Chen told him that he was in the way. He grabbed it and began to absorb its energy. He managed to absorb 20 years of the warrior Wang Gu's internal energy. Chen said that this was too slow. We had to send them to the next world as soon as possible, and he entered the battle. Min Qianhu said, "How powerful! He deals with the sectarians so mercilessly. A real hero." She underestimated him before. Meanwhile, Chen had already accumulated 210 years of true qi in his body. He thought that there was too much qi. He wouldn't be able to absorb it all at once. If urgent measures are not taken, his meridians will not withstand it. Min Qianhu approached him and asked if he was okay. He replied that everything was fine. They needed to go. Chen asked her to ride with him on the same horse and, if he fell, to take him back. Min Qianhu told him to hold her tightly so as not to fall off the horse. Chen hugged her tighter. Then he handed her the scroll and said that he was returning it to her. She asked, "This is the snake-crushing method. Why is he returning it?" Chen said, "Did no one tell her that her subordinate Chen Baihu was from the Western Chancellery? I once had special feelings for her." Min's level of negative emotions jumped to 92. She called him a damn bastard and demanded that he take his hands off him. The yin-yang strife technique was activated. Chen received 70 years of qi from 210 years of other people's energy, as well as 5 years for Min's negative emotions. In the capital, everyone was talking about a new figure. This young commander acts without hesitation. His sword style is sharp and precise. One of the students asked her mentor. All the sisters were talking about this guy. She also noticed him. She replied that his skill was excellent, but this was the path of a killer. They, from Yinjianshan, were not compatible with him. She had not seen him for many years. Min Ning shouted at him to come down immediately. Chen thanked her for walking him home and jumped off his horse. As they parted, he said that he hoped they would meet again. Min Ning growled angrily that she would not forget this disgrace. Chen's remaining true qi was 87 years. He thought that besides the yin-yang technique, he only knew 3 other martial arts so far. If he were to perfect them, then he would only need 1 defensive technique to reach the minor rank of invincibility. Chen activated qi redirection. You pour in the qi you have accumulated with difficulty. Every hieroglyph, Every phrase of the technique passes through your meridians. You observe the eagle fall technique, penetrate to the essence of things, and understand that it combines perfectly with the snake-crushing method. It took 23 years. All thanks to the snake-crushing method, your knowledge of the eagle fall technique has progressed twice as fast and has reached the basic level. By the 37th year, you combine the eagle falling technique and the snake-smashing method, creating a new sword art. You wrote down this new martial art and called it the sea-cleaving blade technique. The eagle fall technique is perfection. The snake-crushing method is perfection. Chen emerged from his meditation and said he was finally finished. Suddenly, he saw Ting Sui watching him. She turned away and thought with embarrassment that she seemed to have been noticed. Chen told her after she left that eavesdropping was a bad habit. Ting Sui overheard his conversation with another bodyguard and thought that he had a penchant for men. What should she do when she was caught? Chen told her to bring some water, and then he made her wash his feet. He said that she was eavesdropping at the door, so she got a small punishment for that. Ting Sui was indignant. Why was he humiliating her like that? Chen asked if she doesn't like washing her feet, then let her go to bed and sleep with him. Ting Sui tried to break free, but Chen ordered her not to move and said that she would simply remain by his side. Ting Sui thought with embarrassment. Didn't he have a passion for men? What was he doing then? Eastern Department. The head of the Eastern Chancellery, Shu Yu, drank tea and said that the turquoise Longjing truly lived up to its reputation. An assistant ran into the room and reported that one of the people from the magical sect had not boarded the ship, and Chen Zongming from the Western Chancellery suddenly lost his temper and beheaded all 16 people, leaving not a single one alive. Shui Yu asked if the sect hadn't made a deal with Chen Baihu beforehand, as he was famous for his venality and fraud. This can't just be left like this. He needs to be taught a lesson. The assistant asked if he wanted to file a report on him. They say he stole a maid from the palace of Prince Xiang, but he is also Lord Lin's man. Shui Yu declared that he was also Mr. Lin's man and had nothing to fear from him, and that some Baihu wanted to break the foundations of the Eastern Chancellery. 2 days later, Chen was summoned to the Western Chancellery. When he arrived, he asked why the master had called him. The head of the Western Chancellery, Wu Qingsheng, asked Chen Baihu if he knew what he had done wrong recently. Chen responded by asking the master to instruct him. The chief threw him a scroll and told him to look at this first. He explained that the Eastern Department had filed a report on him, a memorandum he had intercepted in the Office of Ceremonies. However, he can only stop him once. How long will his strength last? Chief Shu is a personal eunuch, and he is only a 6th rank official. This is not an easy matter even for Chief Shui. But if he reports you, it will be a blow to the honor of all our brothers from the East. Chen asked, what should he do now? The commander of the Eastern Chancellery answered him, give back the servant girl you took from the prince's palace. Otherwise, he's headed straight to the grave. Chen thanked him for the warning and said that he now understood what he needed to do. The commander said that it was good that he was prudent and advised him to be more careful in the future and not to break the order of the Eastern Chancellery. Chen thanked him for his advice. Wu Qingsheng said that since they had settled everything, they should return. Both thanked Mr. Wu for his understanding and left the Western Chancellery. When they left, Chen told the 100 commander from the Eastern Chancellery, Li Baihu, that he had some business with him. Whether Chief Shui knew about the situation with the Holy Maiden of the Magic Sect, Li Baihu asked for more details. Chen said that he did not kill that group of people from the sect for his own benefit, but rather, he acted in the interests of the Eastern Chancellery. A magical sect is trying to lure one of the princes away. The risk is colossal. One wrong step and everything will collapse. According to his information, the sect has a great intrigue behind this. The conspiracy is related to the appearance of the Holy Maiden of the sect. If she comes onto the scene, the Eastern Chancellery, which was handling the case of Prince Xiang, will be under attack. That is why he destroyed those sectarians, in order to thwart the conspiracy and save the Eastern Chancellery from disgrace. He attacked those from the magical sect in order to sever all ties with them in time. Some things seem trivial until you put them on the scales. Li Baihu thanked him for the warning and said that he didn't even know how to thank him. Chen, in response, asked him to look at the copper bone method. Li Baihu said with embarrassment that this technique was personally compiled by Chief Shu and was not allowed to be passed on. Chen said that he himself called it a great favor. Did he not deserve at least such a small thing from the Eastern Chancellery? Li Baihu said that they in the Eastern Chancellery knew how to repay good deeds and handed over the technology to him. He said that if there was nothing else, he would go until the next meeting. Chen said goodbye to him warmly, added copper bone method technique, spent 20 years of true energy, started training. For 3 years, you have focused on hardening your skin and strengthening your muscles and bones. This is hard work that requires rigorous training. 10 years have passed, and you have not only hardened your skin and strengthened your muscles, but also mastered the training of your internal organs and the cleansing of your bone marrow. Your copper bone technique has reached perfection. Even without armor, your body is as if in iron armor. Neither sword nor blade can harm you. Copper bone method, basic level. 40 years of true energy remaining. Chen thought that Min Ning was supposed to visit her sister in half an hour, so he needed to get ahead of her and meet Min Ning earlier. He knocked on Min Min's door and asked if she was home, and she asked what he needed. Chen replied that there were a couple of topics he wanted to talk to her about. She replied that after yesterday's hangover, she had no time for guests. But Chen was persistent and asked, she didn't want Min Ning to lose her position and return to her homeland. Min Min opened the door and asked what Mr. Baihu meant. Chen walked inside and said that she didn't have a hangover at all. Min Min asked why he was bullying a lonely and defenseless woman. Chen was surprised. A helpless woman without support. And what would she say about Wu Yunlo then? Wu Yunlo has secretly set up many intelligence networks. Bai Hualu is just one of them, and she is one of Wu Yunlo's best agents. Min asked gloomily. He didn't just decide to expose her for no reason. Min Ning, nicknamed Yue Qi, followed in her father's footsteps and joined the Eastern Chancellery at 15. In 5 years, after going through a difficult path, she rose from a simple soldier to the rank of Qianhu. It's just a pity she has a sister who is a spy. She thinks that if the Eastern Chancellery finds out about this, will Min Qianhu remain in service? Min Min asked what he was trying to achieve. Chen said, let the word spread that the Eastern Chancellery had conspired with the sect, helped them escape, and would protect the birth of their saint. He added that Miss Min Min shouldn't play games with him. Min Ning's future was in his hands. Min Min said angrily that he was crossing all boundaries, but Chen was already leaving. Min Ning, who had heard their entire conversation, entered her room. She said that her sister shouldn't be afraid. She would find a way to kill him. The next day, Chen walked through the city, and Min Ning followed him. Chen noticed the surveillance and wondered who was following him. Min Ning said, where is he going? Chen finally saw and recognized her. He decided that since she liked to watch, she should see a real performance. There was a temporary base of the demonic sect in the suburbs. He hoped that it would not lag behind. Chen knocked on the door. In response, they asked who he was. Chen said, when the great Buddha is reborn, the darkness will dissipate, and the world will regain its light. An old man appeared from behind the door and told him to come in quickly. Chen thanked the old man and went inside. The young man sitting inside asked who he was and why he hadn't seen him before. He was from Jin Yi Wei. The old man said that they had so many spies, it was hard to remember them all. But his face really was unfamiliar. He struck the ground with his staff and told Chen to identify himself. Chen said, the stars are spinning. The sky and earth are empty. Light and darkness. 2 worlds, 2 sects, 3 limits. The old man was surprised. The sacred art of the cult is the star absorption technique. Chen said his name was Song Shengbao, and he was returning to the sect today. Min Ning, who was watching him, thought, so he is a person from the demonic sect. So that's how he took away her sister's true energy. But why is he using the name Song Shengbao and killing people from the sect at the same time? The old man said that 10 years ago, the sect had planted a spy named Song Shengbao in the Eastern Chancellery. And why had he revealed himself now? Chen replied that the Eastern Chancellery had fallen out with the sect and was simply waiting for the right moment to strike back. They were waiting all the time to destroy them and get promoted to the 3rd rank. Just a few days ago, people from the Eastern Chancellery came to the Western Chancellery and asked to attack our brothers from the sect together. If they continue to trust the Eastern Chancellery, they will not be able to save the Holy Virgin. They already know about the appearance of the Holy Maiden. The elder can secretly transmit a message and check if he is telling the truth. Chen continued, there's no time to waste. The Eastern Chancellery has already begun investigating the Holy Maiden. If they don't strike first, The sect is in danger of being destroyed. The elders said that they had previously negotiated with the Eastern Chancellery. Chen replied that a few days ago, the Eastern Chancellery had cut off contact with their people, and a rumor had spread that they were protecting the Holy Maiden themselves. The elder asked whether he wanted to say that the Eastern Chancellery had spread the news about the Holy Virgin in order to deal with them. A young man at the top shouted that since the Eastern Chancellery had treated them this way, it was time for them to act too. But the elder said that the Eastern Chancellery was too powerful, and if they broke off relations with it, it would be too risky. The young man, M, objected that for the sake of the Holy Virgin, even risky tactics were justified. What was wrong with that? Chen declared that he had said everything he wanted, and that they should do as they pleased, and he was taking his leave. Min Ning decided that this man was too dangerous. She must fully find out who he is. Min Ning carelessly stepped on a rope lying on the floor, causing the trap to be triggered. Clouds of sleeping gas enveloped her. Before she lost consciousness, she thought that things were bad. A loud sound spread throughout the building. The young man stated that someone had activated the security traps. He gave the command to quickly check what was there. In one of the rooms, they found Min Ning immobilized. The young man said, "Who would have thought? This is one of the officers of the Western Chancellery, and quite a good-looking one at that." The elder asked Chen if he knew her. He replied that of course he knew. She was an officer from Xichang. Min Ning said, "Well, he's from the sect. There will be no mercy for a damned bastard like him." The young man shouted at her to shut up and swung his dagger, but Chen stopped him. He explained that if they killed her here, the Western Chancellery would start an investigation. It would be better to drag her to the remote mountains and finish her off there. The young man said that he was, as always, careful. The elder ordered Liu Shi and Ma Deng to take her outside the city and finish her off there, burying the body properly. Forest in the mountains near the capital. The sectarians looked at Min Ning, who was lying tied up on the ground. Ma Deng said that this officer really does have a good appearance. If you rent her out to a brothel, you can make money. He shouted to her, "Stop twitching. She will die today." And he swung his sword. Suddenly, Chen appeared next to him and asked if he was seriously going to kill, and struck him with a sword. Looking at his slain comrade, Liu Shi said, "What is he doing?" But Chen shouted, "Shut up!" and struck him down too. Liu Shi had as much alien truth energy as an ordinary person in 20 years, and Ma Deng had as much as 30 years. Chen turned to Min Ning. Since they were in such a remote place, they would surely have time for wild pleasures, and asked what he had in mind. Her negative emotions reached 80. The yin-yang technique was activated. It was possible to absorb 17 years of true energy. Chen gave her a pill and said it was an antidote to the muscle relaxant powder. Min Ning's strength returned, and she easily broke the bonds. She said the weakness disappeared. So it really was an antidote. Min Ning asked what he was really planning. Chen replied that the heroine Min, who was strong in battle, was only pretending to be a prisoner, but then suddenly broke free and killed 3 people at once. The cult's bandits, Liu Shi and Ma Deng, fell to her snake-crushing method, and only Song Shengbao miraculously survived to deliver the news. Min Ning asked, "So he's not a cult person, and it was just a show?" Chen told her to take their heads and bring them to the Eastern Chancellery. Then she would finally break with the magical cult. Min Ning wondered if he really wasn't from a magical cult, but had done all this to destroy its remnants. For this reason, he managed to figure out both the magical cult and the Eastern Chancellery. This guy has an unusually deep cunning. Chen said that he had laid out the plan for her, and if she did not carry it out, he would go to Baihua Lu and listen to her sister sing. The head of the Eastern Chancellery asked where the rumors came from that the Eastern Chancellery wanted to protect the appearance of the Holy Virgin. The assistant replied that the people sing a song. The head of the Eastern Chancellery and Ming An Shen Jiao protect the magical Holy Maiden. The leader said, "Could it be that someone let it slip? Maybe the people from the magical cult decided that they could force you to protect them this way." The assistant replied that it was quite possible that a magical cult wanted to protect the birth of the Holy Virgin and was hiding behind their name. The head ordered to stop close communication with them in the near future, so that they would sense the hint. He also ordered that people be sent to find out everything about the birth of the Holy Virgin. If it was true, the Eastern Chancellery would strike first. Suddenly, Min Ning entered the hall. She said that she had an important report. The head of the Eastern Chancellery was surprised. Officer Min Ning. Chen knocked on the door of the demon sex base and shouted, "Elder!" The elder, seeing what state he was in, asked what had happened to him. Chen said that the officer pretended to be trapped. She suddenly attacked. Liu Shi and Ma Deng were already dead, and he miraculously managed to escape. The elder became furious. The Eastern Chancellery is treacherous and cunning. They are going too far. Chen said that he would go to rest and recover. The elder replied that he would remember the Eastern Chancellery's behavior and avenge it. Chen thanked him and left. A few hours later, Chen was in his home. He reflected that it was difficult to make the Eastern Chancellery and the magical cult hostile. First, their relationship had to be broken. Ultimately, you need to bring them to complete hostility and reap the benefits yourself. Like the fisherman in the famous parable. Ting Sui entered the room and asked if the owner had called her. Chen said he had an assignment for her. He grabbed her hand and pulled her towards him. She found herself in the bath with him and said, "Master, don't do this." Chen told her not to worry. She probably already guessed what he was going to do. Ting Sui's negative emotions reached 85. Chen received a bonus of 3 years of true energy. He said that they had been together for a long time. How about obediently submitting to him today? Ting Sui asked not to force her. She whispered weakly, "No, don't." But Chen was already hovering over her and handing her a piece of paper. He said it was a death contract and she had to sign it. Ting Sui looked at him in surprise. Chen explained that from that day on she would live under the name Yin Jiao Yu, and when everything settled down, he would return her to her real name. But Ting Sui said she wouldn't sign. Chen pressed her finger to the contract and declared that even if she didn't want to, she would still have to sign it. Does she really think that after 8 years of waiting, she will be able to regain her freedom and live a carefree life? So she must resign herself and sit here quietly for now. Min Ning snuck into Chen's house under cover of night, and she jumped down into his yard. She thought it was time to end their feud. She looked through the hole in the wall, and I saw Ting Sui there. A little later, on his way home, Chen thought that, given the time, the magic sect should have already done something. He burst into the house and thought that things were bad. There was no one in the room. He found a message that if he didn't want anyone to know that he was hiding a woman, he had to follow his older sister's orders. Chen thought, so it was her. Well, just in time. The next day in the house in the forest, Min Ning wondered why he hadn't come yet. Whether the hint wasn't enough, or whether he had gone to see his sister. There was a loud knock at the door. Min Ning was delighted. He had finally come. Suddenly, a sharp blade appeared at her neck. A group of people burst into the house and shouted, "It's the saint! The Eastern Chancellery really did kidnap her." Min Ning thought that this was bad. A crowd of people gathered in front of the Eastern Chancellery, shouting, "The Eastern Chancellery has broken its word! Kill them all!" The Lord of the Eastern Chancellery asked what was going on. The assistant said that people from the magic sect attacked. They suddenly defected. The leader ordered that they hold the parade ground together with him and destroy the remnants of the demonic evil spirits. A huge army of sectarians gathered in front of the chancery. The replacement heads ordered not to spare them. Today, they will eradicate these demons. One of the sect members attacked the head, shouting, "Die, traitor!" However, he killed him with one move. The head of the Eastern Chancellery gave the order that if anyone encountered a saint from the magic sect, they were to be killed without hesitation. Min Ning ran, dragging Ting Sui along with her. She was perplexed. How could the magic sect find this place? Suddenly a cry was heard that the saint was with the people of the Eastern Chancellery. With a cry of "Save the saint," the sect members surrounded Min Ning and Ting Sui. Min Ning thought with despair that they had finally caught up with them. A fighter attacked them, shouting, "Let's free the saint!" Min Ning fought back and thought that this couldn't go on any longer. She needed to get out as quickly as possible. She used the snake-crushing method. The sect fighter shouted, "Don't even think about taking the saint away!" He threw poisoned needles, but Min Ning deflected them. However, one needle hit Ting Shu. The sect fighter shouted in irritation that he had accidentally hit the saint. Min Ning attacked him, screaming, "Die already!" The fighter's body fell next to Ting Sui. Min Ning told her that she had to leave, but then the chancery soldiers ran up to them. One of them asked what was going on here. Min Ning replied that it was the saint of the magic cult. The warrior asked if she was really going to go against the head. An order had been issued. Was she going to protect the saint of the magic sect? Min Ning asked, "What other order?" The warrior replied that Headmaster Shui had ordered that when meeting with the holy magic sect, They were to kill without mercy. Their argument was interrupted by someone's loud voice. "Stop it!" Everyone stared at Chen as he approached. He turned to Min Ning and said that she had caused him trouble while he was looking for her. Ting Sui asked for help in her pleading voice. One of the warriors of the Eastern Chancellery asked who he was, but Chen struck him down with a sword strike. He said briefly, "Tattletale creature." Another warrior rushed at him with a cry. "Death to the one who shelters the enemy." Chen easily parried the blow, and he said that he was overestimating himself. Chen said, "The one who saw the saint, to be destroyed without mercy." The warrior of the Eastern Chancellery said, "That means he, too, turned out to be a scum of the magical cult," and he rushed at him, shouting, "Die!" Chen used the skill Rising Dragon Serpent. Soon it was all over. The Chancellery warriors were destroyed. Min Ning, who was watching the fight, said, "This is her snake-crushing method." Chen told her to take the saint to his home. He added that if he doesn't see her at home, then she knows how everything will turn out. So she should act wisely. In front of the Eastern Chancellery building lay the bodies of the dead fighters of the magic cult and the Chancellery. The head of the Eastern Chancellery asked the elder. They had always cooperated without disagreements. Why would he betray him like that? He replied, "Enough chatter. He who does not keep his word must die." And they clashed in battle again. The elders said that if he didn't kill him today, it would mean he had failed the saint. The head replied that even if he killed him today, he would not be able to escape from the Eastern Chancellery. The elders swung at him, shouting, "Die!" But then someone's sword pierced him. The head froze in surprise. Then he saw a figure standing behind the old man and asked, "Chen by who?" He said he was glad to see that the head of the Eastern Chancellery was okay, and then suddenly attacked him. He put his hand on his face and began to pour true energy into him. The leader screamed in pain and horror, and finally asked why this was happening. Chen thought that the plan was completed. Only the saint remained. "We just need to find a scapegoat and everything will be written off." Chen heard some noise outside. People from the Western Chancellery gathered in front of the building, and Head Wu asked where Chen Bahu was. But they told him that no trace of him had been found yet. Chen stepped forward and reported that his subordinate was here. The head asked him what was going on, why he was the first one from the entire Western Chancellery to arrive. Chen responded by asking if Western Chancellery Chief Wu really suspected that he was the one plotting here. The head said in bewilderment, "What is he saying?" Chen said that his fighting skills were inferior to Chief Shu's. And that day, Li Baihu secretly gave him a fighting technique as a sign of friendship between the offices. Chief Wu asked Li Baihu if he could confirm this, and he said it was true. Chen's eyes filled with tears as he said that this book was written by Chief Shui, so he could be considered half his teacher. With such a technique, would he put a spoke in the wheel? And he and Chief Shui obey Senior Lin. After listening to him, Head Wu said that he had been wrong to suspect him. Chen stated that Chief Sui had given his life for the Eastern Chancellery. Such valor deserved to be reported truthfully. The brothers from the Eastern Chancellery fought to the death, fearlessly. Like Chief Shui, he asks that their merits not be belittled. People around said, "Chen Baihu is magnanimous. He doesn't take credit for others' achievements at all. And at times like these, he thinks of his comrades." Head Wu said that he would definitely report everything as it was, without hiding a word. Min Ning stood in the courtyard of Chen's house. She wondered what Chen Baihu's true strength was. His technique is the family's inherited snake-crushing method. But it seems that this is not only the snake-crushing method. His movements are also different from the usual Jinyue school. Everything is so confusing. Chen appeared at the threshold. He asked Min Ning where she was. She replied that it was inside. She pulled out a silver needle and applied some ointment. Chen sternly told her that if she was going to take her away, she should first carefully weigh her strength. He added that he was talking not just about the daughter of Prince Xiang, but about her own sister. Min Ning replied that she understood him. She asks him not to touch his sister. If necessary, better her. She knows that he has a penchant for men. Chen asked what and said that the couple was going to Zi's palace, after which he kissed Min Ning passionately. Then he told her to come back and not even think about cheating again. The head of the Western Chancellery asked his deputy Song if all the bodies had already been counted. He replied that all the dead brothers of the Eastern Chancellery were included in the list, and tomorrow the head would be able to report everything to the Empress. The deputy added that he was worried that there were still survivors in the magic sect, because 21 bodies were found at one point. Head of U asked him to explain why he was saying that. The deputy said that a judicial officer examined them, and their wounds showed that almost all of them were killed by one blow, 2 at most. If it were Head Shui, it would take less than half an hour. But he is only at the 5th level in martial arts. That is, there is another master in the magic sect, and his whereabouts are unknown. The leader asked, "The 6th stage," the deputy answered. Not only that, it seems the master fought together with the cult elder against the leader of Shui. The servant reported that Elder Lin had sent people to request an audience. Headmaster Wu noted that rumors quickly reached Mr. Lin and ordered that the envoy be admitted. A man entered and greeted the head of the Western Chancellery. The head of Wu was surprised. The second son of the Lin clan. The messenger said that his father had heard about the magic cult's attack on the Eastern Chancellery and had sent him to investigate. The deputy said he had already sent people to notify their family. The envoy said that the position of head of the Eastern Chancellery was vacant. Did the two of them not have a candidate for the temporary position? He added that they all serve the dynasty, so it is necessary to discuss in advance and propose a worthy candidate. Chief Wu said that then let Vice Chief Song become chief until the imperial family chooses a new one. Mr. Lin's second son asked Deputy Song what he thought about this, but Deputy Song said that he did not have such abilities and was afraid of letting down the dynasty. The envoy said that his father had a candidate, Centurion Chen. Why not promote him to 1,000 and temporarily make him head? Head Wu objected that there was only 1,000th. If he got promoted, what would happen to Min Ning? Deputy Song said that no one had seen Min Ning in this matter, and that a petition could be submitted to demote her to the position of overseer of the Eastern Chancellery. Chen Baihu enjoyed Mr. Lin's trust, and besides, it was only a temporary appointment. Head Wu agreed with these arguments. Mr. Lin's second son drank his tea with satisfaction. Chen sat next to Ting Sui, who was lying on the bed. Soon, she woke up. Chen asked if she now understood her mistake. He asked Ting Sui if she dared to run away again, and she replied that she wouldn't dare anymore. Chen warned that next time, if she ran away, he would not only take possession of her, but it will also force you to pay an unbearable price. Chen added that there was also good news for the saint of the magic cult. He ordered a man to impersonate her so that he would die in the hall in her place. He did so much for her. Isn't it time she paid him back for this? Chen said that he would probably stay with her today. Ting Sui froze in fear. Chen said that she should try to please him properly. Ting Sui thought that there was a reaction. Was his love for men fake? Chen pulled Ting Sui towards him and kissed her. There was a knock at the door, and someone said that the head of the chancellery was waiting for him. Chen wondered if he had given himself away somewhere. A quarter of an hour later, he began to get ready. Arriving at the office, Chen greeted Mr. Lin and Chief Wu. Chen thought that Elder Lin's disciples were power-hungry and corrupt, and were despised by the people. If he was looking for him, it was hardly a good thing. Could the matter really be so serious that Mr. Lin himself showed up? Head of Wu announced that Mr. Lin had nominated him for the position of acting head of the Eastern Chancellery. Chen said that this needed to be discussed thoroughly. Mr. Lin stated that in this case, he would incur the wrath of his father. He conveyed the invitation to him and told him to come to their house for a talk. He also said that Thousand Man Chen is the most suitable. Promotion and wealth are the common aspirations of people. Many will never live to see this opportunity. If a decent person like him heads the office, father will be at peace and can focus on cultivation. Chen thought with alarm that the Lin faction had apparently decided to tie him closer to themselves. Lin added that his father had always looked after him, and he hoped that he would not refuse anymore. After that, he said goodbye and left. Chen thought that he wouldn't be able to escape this time. Chief Wu said that he also wanted to give him one thing. This is one of the 2 great techniques, equal to the fist of the great beginning, the fist of the Blue Mountains. Chen asked where this technique came from. Usually this method appears only in the middle of the game, during the event all the Celestial Empire in the chaos of war. So why did it appear earlier? Headmaster Wu explained that Min had given him this method for safekeeping, telling him to hand it over when a suitable person was found. He thought Chen was worthy of it. Chen warmly thanked the chief. Head Wu also reminded that today the Singer Registration Department was checking Prince Xiang's concubines, and he would go and take a look. Chen thought that if he didn't take precautions, the kidnapping of Prince Xiang's daughter would come to light sooner or later. So he came to the singer's office. At the entrance, he met Min Ning. He asked her what she was doing here. She replied that she had helped check the lists and had already finished. Chen said that he didn't think that noble Ming Xiaoxia would take on such a task. She replied that she only... Chen finished for her. Did it for her sister. Min Ning told him to leave her and her sister alone. Even though she was demoted, she would still help him. Min Ning's negative emotions brought him another 3 years of true energy, leaving him with 143 years of true energy remaining. Chen thought that if he put all his energy into the Blue Mountain Fist, he would definitely make progress. But if he saved it, he could get greater benefits. Min Ning said that in 10 days, the ritual meeting would begin, and the sacred masters would come to drive out the bandits and demons. Chen replied that he knew this better than her, and that she would be disappointed if she wanted to blackmail him with this. He hugged and kissed her. Min Ning broke free and screamed at him to stop. There were people nearby. Chen asked what she knew about the Blue Mountain Fist that her grandfather had inherited. Min Ning said that this is his grandfather's art. Where did he get it from? Chen said, what does it matter to her? Min Ning irritably stated that her grandfather had not even passed on this technique to her father. So where did he get it from? He showed her a book with the technique. She was indignant. So it was true. Several hours passed. Min Min asked her sister if he wanted the two of them to enter the Purple Palace together. She replied that yes, and besides, he also had a scroll with grandfather's Blue Mountain Fist in his hands. Min Min asked her if she was really ready to give herself to him. Min Ning replied that she intended to get closer to him and stall for time. Otherwise, he would take action, and they would not have a single chance. She added that she shouldn't worry. She knew her limits. If she can keep it safe, she's ready to step forward. Min Min said that she was carrying too much on her own, all because she herself was too weak. An elderly woman entered the room and said, "What touching sisterly affection?" The woman asked. She had previously conveyed through people that the 1,000-man from the Western Chancellery wanted to cooperate with Wu Yunlu. Min Min replied that now that Xue Yu had died, Lord Lin had no people left, and it was a done deal that he would become the head of the Eastern Chancellery. The woman asked to convey that Wu Yunlo wanted to befriend Chen Baihu. Min Min asked what she would get in return. The woman said that the first beauty, Bai Hua Lu, Wu Yunlo spent a lot of silver on her for 10 years. It was time to repay her. Min Min asked directly if she wanted her to go. The woman replied that if you wanted to keep her as a concubine, she should neither agree nor directly refuse. All she needs is for him to patronize her. In half the cases, she only needs to serve him 3 or 4 times. That's enough to keep him in hand. The master values this Chen Baihu and wants him to serve Wu Yunlo. She should slip him the 3 Yang scattered qi ointment. Min Min asked how to slip it to her. The woman said that, of course, at the moment of greatest pleasure, hiding the poison in her own body. Lin family mansion. The head of the family asked his son Yan to add some incense. He complied with the request and said that he did not understand why Chen Yi was so worried about this. The old man replied that Her Majesty the Empress was going to receive him today. Yan asked, although the Empress rules as regent, she rarely receives dignitaries alone. Why suddenly only him? The head of the family said that a month ago, a young man of unknown origin was caught in the capital, who said that he was a descendant of the Chen family. When the Chen clan of Jin captured the city of Luoyang, they slaughtered everyone there. And among those killed was the An clan, which holds high ranks in the capital. Could the Empress ever forget such a bloody feud? Yan asked. The Empress wants to use him to take revenge on the Chen clan, but there are many people with the surname Chen. He is definitely from the Jin clan. The head of the Lin family replied that it did not matter who he really was. What was important was that the Empress believed him, and then he would become him. The courtier reported that the commander of the Western Chancery, Chen, was requesting an audience. He then turned to Chen and invited him in. Chen walked into the hall and greeted the great Empress. She said that Elder Lin recommended him for the position of temporary head of the Eastern Chancellery, and whether he could handle this burden. Chen replied that he would do his utmost to ease the Mother Emperor's worries. The Empress stated that his devotion and respect were gratifying, however. Wu Qingsheng intercepted a report for him, which said that he had taken away a servant girl from the Xiang prince's house. What can he say in his defense? Chen replied that there must be some mistake here. The Empress asked whether he took that servant as his legal wife or concubine. Chen was surprised to think why she was asking this, and replied that she was asking as a concubine. The Empress said that if she was a concubine, that was fine, but she had her own plans with his legal wife. Chen thought that this plotline had never happened before. So was it some kind of hidden thread? He replied that he thanked Her Majesty for her great favor, which the servant was unable to repay. The Empress praised his devotion and filial piety and ordered him to go to the pharmacy kitchen to take the decoction and then return. Chen thought, drinking decoctions in the pharmacy kitchen, what kind of insidious game is the Empress playing? The Empress watched him go and thought that this blood feud could not be erased. This young man needed to be kept at court so that he could settle the score himself. However, this is not enough. You can kill the body, but not the spirit. Only an insult can ward off revenge. The Chen clan of Jin has an only daughter. If she forces her to marry Chen Baihu, it will be a violation of all principles and the greatest blasphemy. The Chen clan destroyed the An clan. They will not only crush their clan, they will also tear apart their moral foundations, destroy their ethics. The Empress called. An old woman, an elderly woman, a second-rank master, appeared and greeted Empress An. The Empress asked what to find out about Shu Yu's death. The old woman replied that Soroka's spies had discovered that the rumors about Shu Yu's connection with the magic cult had been spread by Wu Yunlo. The Empress said angrily, "What courage does this Wu Yunlo have?" She tolerated them, but they are already harming Silijian himself. They need to be reined in, and their spies need to be cleaned out. As she left, the Empress ordered that people be called to clean the place where Chen Baihu stood. The courtier handed Chen Baihu the brew and offered him a drink. Chen asked what kind of concoction it was. The courtier said that it was a strengthening decoction. Let him drink it quickly. Chen drained the cup of brew. He thought that this taste was familiar to him. It was not a strengthening drug at all, but exactly the same poison as a month ago. Fortunately, he knows a method of detoxification, although it is complex, requiring heavenly and earthly rarities. But that's all. The courtier asked how it tasted, and Chen replied that it was very tasty. Chen stated that he had business to attend to, so he would take his leave and left. Ting Sui rummaged through the drawers of the closet. Chen asked what she was looking for. Ting Sui said that she was bored here and wanted to read something. Chen grabbed her hand and asked if she wanted him to sit with her. She said it wasn't necessary. He stated that she would still be with him all her life. A cry came from outside that Min Ning was requesting an audience. Chen was surprised. Did she really come to him herself? Min Ning called him Chen. Chen said that there was no need to go into the Hall of Three Treasures without a reason. Let her say what she needed. Min Ning said that Wu Yunlo had already agreed to cooperate. Chen stated that since they were joining forces, they needed to show a little sincerity. Min Ning asked if he wanted her to become his concubine. Chen said that since she had such an understanding, then she should come in, and he picked her up in his arms. Seeing Ting Sui, Min Ning asked why there was still someone inside. Chen asked what was wrong. She didn't like it. Min Ning asked if they should go to the guest room. Chen said that it was possible here too. Min Ning objected, but still. Chen said that there was no need to be shy. This was his hostage and she would be one too. Everyone here was his own. Min Ning thought. So that's where he gets such perversions from. Should she really pretend and please him? Suddenly, a cry was heard from outside. There are scoundrels from Wu Yunlu. Kill them! Chen exclaimed. What's going on at the gate? Two girls, screaming. Damn it, they've been found out. Tried to run away from the old woman. The old woman said that the minions from Wu Yunloa will be destroyed. None of them will leave alive. She threw needles that hit the girls. Their bodies fell at Chen's feet. He asked what was going on here anyway. Seeing the old woman surrounded by figures, Min Ning said, Our old lady has also been tracked down. The old woman said in the meantime, Magpie Pavilion. Don't go too far. A group of people started shouting, Enough of this talk, stop them! Shouting, We'll kill her! They rushed at the old woman. She said, If you want to kill her, well, try it. Min Ning said that if they all attacked together, they would be finished. What should they do now? She suggested that maybe Chen could distract them. He jerked his outerwear off, and Min Ning screamed, What is he going to do? It's better for him to go and distract them. But Chen rushed at her and kissed her deeply. Min Ning broke free and was indignant. At such a moment, and he again, Chen hugged her again. He whispered to her, Does she really think he can't control himself? Let her just play along with him. The old woman called him loudly. Chen! He looked at her in surprise and asked, Old woman, how did she end up here? The old woman said sternly, What impudence to hide fugitives in your home? But Chen said that this was his recently taken concubine. The old woman told Min Ning to come to her. She would immediately know with one touch whether she was a spy. Chen told her to go. The old woman took her hand and said, No inner strength. So definitely not from Wu Yunlu. She turned to Chen. There was unrest at the East Gate, and he was looking for fun. If there is a leak or incident in the palace, let her not be blamed if she conducts an investigation against the Western Chancellery. Finally, the old woman advised him to take care of himself and left. Min Ning sighed with relief. It was over, but then she suddenly moaned loudly. Chen rushed to Min Ning, asking what was wrong with her. She replied that it looked like poison. She asked for help and said that she did not want to die. Chen asked what kind of poison it was. Min Ning replied that it was the 3 Yang scattered qi ointment. Chen said, But this poison is capable of rupturing the meridians. He asked where they put this poison. Min Ning said sheepishly that he was downstairs. Chen was indignant. How could she? Min Ning clung to him and asked him to help her. Ting Sui said that she washed everything with clean water, and the ointment was completely washed off. Chen handed her a pill and said it would slow down the poison's progress. Min Ning thanked him as she took the pill. Chen asked indignantly, She wants to become his concubine, and at the same time poisons him. Does she really think that he does not understand what she has planned? Min Ning whispered, I'm sorry. She lost her mind without knowing what she was doing. She said she was asking for mercy. It was Wu Yunlo who forced her. Chen sternly asked, Spare her. She put poison, almost killed him, and thinks it's only Wu Yunlo's fault. Min Ning said that she was to blame. Wu Yunlu forced her. She didn't want to, but she was still to blame. She asked to be allowed to atone for her guilt. She would redeem herself and become his concubine, his servant. Good. Chen replied, Let him stay here and atone for his guilt. Min Ning happily asked, hugging him. He agreed. Chen pushed her away and told Yin Tingsui to make sure she didn't escape. Tingsui thought that he didn't seem as bad as she thought. Chen thought that recently, all the big forces were moving, so he needed to become stronger. He took out the scroll with the Blue Mountain Fist technique and began to study it. When you first encounter the Changshan Fist, you realize that it is an extremely difficult martial art, so you muster up all your willpower. A message came that after studying for about 2 years, he failed. Chen thought that this treatise was really difficult. You spend 5 years trying again and again to master the art, to feel the principles of fist fighting, but the results are minimal. At 20, you stop practicing stances and strikes and try to grasp the essence. And this comprehension lasts for decades. 49 years later, you finally grasp the essence of the art of fist fighting. Try to throw a punch and hear how everything around you vibrates slightly. Chen thought that in 49 years of qi, other arts could be perfected, but the Changshan Fist was only at the initial stage. We need to try it out. In the Beyond World, all warriors of the Celestial Empire are divided into 9 ranks, and warriors outside of these ranks are usually called ordinary. Within the 9 ranks, there is a division: qi circulation, passage through the meridians, the ability to defeat 10 people. These are the lower 3 ranks. When qi enters martial arts, allowing it to penetrate armor, these are the middle 3 ranks. As for the 3 top ranks, the 3rd rank is mastery, the perfection of martial arts, and the abundance of qi. Chen's current strength is close to the middle 3 ranks. After studying Kulan Changshan, he should enter the 6th rank. The next day, Chen arrived at the Eastern Factory, the secret police agency. He told Wang Gu, who met him, that he came to say hello to the brothers from the Eastern Factory in order to better coordinate their actions. Wang Gu said that they had just one thing for him. He could take a look to get acquainted with the working procedures at the factory. He led him inside the building, and then he reported that on the northwestern outskirts of the capital, people were secretly building towers for babies. Chen said he had heard of baby towers, originally used to house babies born with deformities. Later, commoners began to throw unwanted babies there, some of whom were boys, but most were girls. In some particularly cruel villages, to scare away the souls of infants coming to be reborn, They were drowned or burned inside towers. They did this simply because they could not feed them. Wang Gu said that the palace was concerned that the corpse poison would ruin the capital's feng shui, so they had instructed the Eastern Factory to deal with it. Chen demanded that he be taken there. In the laws of the Great Yu, there is an article for the unauthorized killing of a child. The punishment is enslavement. As they galloped towards the location, Chen inquired whether so many guards were needed to clear one infant tower. Wang Gu replied that the court was now ruled by slanderers. Officials were driving the people to rebellion, and it would not be a mistake to take more people. Their detachment rode up to the tower. Chen ordered that everyone they saw be seized, so that they could find out who built the tower. According to the law of the Great Yu, everyone was to be escorted to the capital. However, no one moved, and Wang Gu suggested that he get off his horse. Chen asked. They didn't hear what he said. Wang Gu said that he didn't expect that Chen Baihu still had a drop of compassion left. He repeated the demand to dismount. Chen said that this place is not far from the capital. The tower is easy to find. This case is several years old. Why was it only taken out today? Wang Gu replied that the Lin party was sowing discord at court, seizing power and taking bribes. And if it was not overthrown, the Great Yu would never be revived. Chen said that Lord Lin had always paid attention to Taoist practices, but the tower was bothering him. Apparently the work of the Ding'an party. Wang Gu said that to scrape poison out of a bone, a person would have to damage the flesh, let alone the people of the Ding'an party. Isn't it the Lin party that is sowing discord? What do the common people have to do with it? Why would they kill babies? Chen looked at him silently. Wang Gu shouted, "Enough talking, get off your horse," and rushed at him with a sword. Chen dodged the blow with ease. He pulled out a weapon and asked, "Are you looking for death?" Fan Gu shouted to his men, "Kill him!" They rushed at him, shouting, "Die, you Lin party henchmen!" Chen said, "Nobodies," while dealing with the fighters who attacked him. Wang Gu muttered, "This terrifying inner strength. How can he beat just 1,000 man?" Today, no matter what it takes, this Lin party henchman must be destroyed. Chen told his opponent that his blade was too slow and struck him down with a sword strike. The wounded Wang Gu called him a traitor who had joined the Lin party. Chen said that just because the Lin party is harming China doesn't mean they can also commit arbitrariness. He added that he had no interest in the Ding'an party before. With these words, Chen cut off Wang Gu's hand. Min Ning and her people appeared from the forest. She watched with amazement the aftermath of the battle that had broken out. Chen continued. But now they forced him to take them more seriously. Wang Gu asked him to finish him off, but Chen said he would later find people to stop the bleeding and bandage him, and deliver it safely back to the capital. Chen explained that he would let him live so that he could return to the capital and tell the Ding'an party what had happened today. Wang Gu said that he could kill him, but he couldn't handle the Ding'an party. Even if he took over the entire East Factory, he had no chance. Chen replied that those whom the Eastern Factory did not dare kill, he would kill himself. Chen ordered Min Ning to help collect the bodies of several brothers from the Eastern Factory, and then order them to be sent back. Min Ning looked at him and thought, "This guy killed so many people. Why is there still a smile on his face?" Chen asked. She was probably wondering why he did it. It's a long story, but they attacked first. Moreover, this infant tower is also the result of a deliberate conspiracy between Wang Gu and his people. He ordered the others to take the children from the tower and take them to the orphanage, and also to find the instigators of the construction. No one should be missed. Min Ning thought, maybe he's not that bad after all. Chen handed her the scroll and said it was for her. She asked what it was. He replied that it was a reward for arriving on time. But Min Ning said that she couldn't take it. She won't be able to thank him in equal measure. In the future, she will find something suitable to exchange with him. Chen thought that this girl was quite proud. A few hours later, he returned home. He asked Ting Shui how she was feeling and whether she had slept well. She replied that she slept well and even had a dream. She doesn't remember the dream exactly. She only remembers that he was walking with some one-armed woman, as if they were arguing, and this woman insistently wanted to take her with her. But she really didn't like him. Ting Sui asked who this woman was. Her dreams always come true, like when she dreamed that he would come. Chen replied that it was Zhou Yitang. Ting Shui was surprised. 9th on the list of martial arts. Ting Sui thought, it's strange. Why when she finds out that he has another woman, She has some kind of unpleasant feeling. She told Chen that although she knew about her, she hardly knew her. But it could happen. Chen told her to take good care of herself until he bothered her again. And after a while, Jing Wang's residence. The head of the residence sternly asked his subordinates who had made the arbitrarily decision to attack a 5th-rank 1,000-man. One of those present answered the advisor that it was he who ordered it. The advisor asked why His Highness did this. The prince replied that this 1,000-man from the Western factory was a man of the Lin party, and if the Eastern factory fell into their hands, all their efforts would go to waste. Once he died, Song Tong would be able to take over the post, so they could attract people from the palace secretariat to their side. The advisor replied that he was not killed. His Highness was thinking about the consequences if he could not be killed. The prince replied that if they didn't kill him, then they didn't kill him. He was just a 1,000-man from the Western factory. Could he really move the sky? The deputy advisor joined the conversation and said that since things had already gone this far, all that was left was to sort this mess out. The prince said that they could send a 5th-rank master to quietly eliminate him. The advisor asked, if Jing Wang's residence continues to operate, what will the Empress Dowager and His Majesty do? The deputy reminded that soon there will be a prayer service in honor of the day of expulsion of demons and extermination of robbers. Demons and ghosts roam at night. The prince asked what he wanted to say. The deputy explained that the prayer service lasts for several days, and at night the world becomes otherworldly as evil spirits appear. When the prayer service begins and all sorts of evil spirits come out, if the 1,000-man from the Western factory dies then, they will not be held accountable. The prince said that if so, then they still had a chance. Yin Weining entered the hall and asked, Father, who are they talking about? Is this man really so dangerous that he needs to be killed at the prayer service? The prince stated that this matter did not concern her. The deputy reminded her that she was a saint. She had no place in their dirty deeds. Let her leave the killings to ordinary people like them. Yin Weining asked what the name of this 1,000-man from the Western factory was, but she was told that it didn't matter. He was still dead. She said she didn't want to get involved in this matter, but there was one person in the Eastern factory who was of great interest to her. The prince asked who it was. Yin Weining replied that this was the one mentioned in the prophecy, Min Ning, nicknamed Min Yueqi. Although she has not seen her, she has a deep connection with the Tao. If she follows her into the mountains for self-improvement, she will become the golden youth of Taihua. The prince said, everyone heard. When they kill the 1,000-man from the Western factory, let them not touch the girl from the Min clan. Yin Weining gave praise to the heavenly venerable one. Min Ning returned home and found a book with a note on the doorstep. No thanks needed. She was surprised. This is the Changshan fist Mr. Chen sent him. Min Ning said, he's so generous. All this time she's been judging him by herself, projecting her own insignificance onto him. The employees of the Eastern factory spoke of a new boss who fought alone against 15 fighters. It is not surprising that he was able to become an interim boss. Chen came up and asked which of them was taking notes. The subordinates asked what instructions Mr. Chen would have. He told them to go to the archives, find all the files related to Jing Wang's residence, and bring them to him. Chen thought that since the Ding Tan party wanted to remove him, he wouldn't let them get off easy. It was interesting to see if there were truly incorruptible officials. Subordinates said Mr. Shu had already reviewed most of these cases and believed they were basically in order, but Chen sternly told them not to force him to repeat it twice. The staff replied that they would do everything immediately. Soon, they brought the papers and reported that all the affairs were here. He could check them personally. Chen said that they were free for now. Min Ning came unexpectedly and he asked what she was doing there. She replied that she needed to talk to him. Chen asked about what? Min Ning walked towards him with a determined step and touched his face, and kissed her hard. Then she said sheepishly that she had repaid him for his favor. Chen asked in surprise, did she repay the favor? Min Ning said indignantly, isn't that what he, the scoundrel, wanted? Chen said that she didn't actually have to repay the debt, but she stated that if she didn't, her conscience would be bad. Chen mockingly said that if she was so insistent on repaying the debt, then in the future she would have to repay many favors. He added that when she gets into the battle rankings, there will be people who will ask why she is hiding her past as a brothel girl. Min Ning said he was simply crazy. Some bird was circling above the house. Min Ning said in surprise, it's my sister's homing pigeon. Something must have happened if her sister urgently calls her. She unfolded the message, which read, White Flower Tower. Urgent. Min Ning decided that something had definitely happened. White Flower Tower. Min Min played the Qing. Yin Weining was also in the room. She was looking out the window with 2 servants with her. Min Min asked her why the celestial being Yin had come to their entertainment establishment. Yin Weining told her to just play the Qin. She knows Guangling-san well. Min Min replied that she knew and continued playing. Chen told Min Ning that he would go first and deal with it on the spot, and that she should be extremely careful. He added that she shouldn't worry about him. He's not the type to rush into trouble. An elderly woman blocked his path and sternly asked him what he was doing there. A voice came from above asking him to let him up. The old woman said, "Yes, I obey," and stepped aside. Chen went upstairs and entered the room. Min Min was surprised to see him. Chen said that his sister shouldn't worry. He has everything under control. Min Min smiled sweetly when she heard the address sister. Chen asked Yin Weining what her Taoist name was and why she was looking for his older sister, and she invited him to sit down. Yin Weining said that the prophecy says that he is both a dragon and a phoenix. But seeing him now, there seems to be some slight discrepancies. She said that she came to Min Qianhu because he had an aptitude for the Tao, and whether he was willing to follow her to cultivate. Chen remembered that in the novel Beyond Heaven, Min Qianhu was among the top 10 strongest. Could it really be that this girl gave her this opportunity? He replied that he asked for forgiveness, but he was forced to refuse. He could not leave his older sister and was not able to break worldly ties. Yin Weining said, "Morning mushroom, cicada." Chen wondered if she was hinting that he didn't know the change of days and nights, or the change of seasons. Yin Weining said that it was okay. Many people were like that before they saw the scenery in the mountains. How could mere mortals see what immortals saw? He has a predisposition to the Tao, so she will make an exception and show him the changing of the days and the changing of the seasons. The rooms suddenly lit up. Yin Weining pointed to the glowing object in her hands and said that it was the eternal flame lamp. She said, "Take it," and handed it to Chen. He looked at the glowing object in his hands with amazement. Yin Weining said, "Give it here," and took the lamp. In her hands, the lamp slowly went out. Chen was puzzled. Cheno asked, "Isn't this the eternal flame lamp? Why did it go out as soon as it fell into her hands?" Yin Weining stated that it was because he was just a morning mushroom. Chen asked her to explain it to him. At the foot of the mountains, all mortals have their own lifespan. No matter how much you care about your health and longevity, you are unlikely to live more than 120 years. People only know about cultivation by hearsay. Can they imagine that there was a chun tree for which 8,000 years is spring? For such a chun tree, a person who lives for 120 years is just a cicada. The lamp in his hands burns forever, but in hers it goes out. For her, the lamp of eternal flame is not eternal. No matter how eternal the lamp, how can it burn longer than spring and autumn last in the mountains? Chen asked how he could then achieve a life as long as spring and autumn in the mountains. If he wants to live like spring and autumn in the mountains, he must cast aside all worldly attachments. Chen asked if she wanted him to cut off all ties with the world and not interfere in worldly affairs. If he does not break the bonds of this world, he will not be able to attain immortality. Don't they say, "The immortal stroked my head"? Yin Weining declared that she is immortal, stroking the head and granting longevity. Achieving the highest oblivion of feelings is the attainment of immortality. Chen said, "To break worldly bonds, the highest oblivion of feelings. What does the immortal maiden follow? The stone or immortality?" The servants were outraged. How dare he speak to the immortal maiden like that? Min Min thought that this was bad. If the immortal maiden got angry, the consequences would be dire. Chen said that everything she said was just the heretical speeches of the Mo school, which was an influential school in ancient times, but is now a secondary school. If that's all, then immortal maiden Yin had better go back. Yin Weining said that he seemed to be refusing. Well, nothing can be done. Nothing can be imposed by force. Chen thought it was good that nothing happened. Meanwhile, Min Ning was anxiously thinking that quite a long time had passed. Why hadn't he come out yet? Finally, Chen appeared at the threshold with Yin Weining. Looking at Yin Weining, He thought that she had a very strong, evil aura. Isn't exorcism day in 3 days? Has the plot changed again? Min Ning rushed towards him. He finally came out. Chen asked to be forgiven for the wait. Min Ning asked him if the affairs in the White Flower Tower had been settled. Chen said that everything was fine and introduced her to Immortal Maiden Yin. Pointing Tim Ning, he told the Immortal Maiden that this was the West Chen Factory's 1,000-man leader, nicknamed Zun Ming. Looking at her, Yin Weining said, "What a deep predisposition to the Tao. What a pity." A merchant nearby shouted, "Come on over and buy good luck charms, gain wealth." A crowd of passers-by gathered around him, buying his goods. The merchant reassured them, saying that there was enough for everyone. Looking at the merchant, Yin Weining said that he had a strange aura. He, noticing that he had attracted her attention, began to quickly get ready. Yin Weining shouted at him, "Demon! You're taking money from people. Show your true form." The merchant said that he saw that she was also a person engaged in cultivation. How could she slander like that? Yin Weining drew her sword and ordered him to be silent. The merchant shouted that things were bad, that he was a high-level practitioner, and started running. Yin Weining said while chasing him, "He's trying to escape." The merchant screamed, "Have mercy!" But Yin Weining attacked him and cut off both his arms. Chen said that it was indeed a demon. Yin Weining finished off the demon with a sword strike. She explained that the dung seller 1326 is on the list of demons and devils. They pretend to be Taoists and monks, selling their talismans and books. Min Ning said that it turns out that such creatures do exist. Chen offered to walk the Immortal Maiden home. They reached the river. Strange-looking people approached the riverbank and muttered, "Didn't you want to lie with the goddess of waters?" A voice was heard from the river. "Look at me. I am the goddess of the waters." A hand appeared from the river and carried the unfortunate into the abyss. Chen said, "The crossing of a jealous wife." Yin Weining said that they had to leave. They couldn't handle her. Min Ning asked who the goddess of the jealous wife's crossing was. Yin Weining explained that the goddess of the jealous wife's crossing was originally formed from a drowned woman surnamed Duan. Her husband, Liu Boyu of the Jin dynasty, fantasized in poetry about how good it would be to lie with the goddess of waters, but she drowned herself in anger and became a demon. And the current demons of this type are mostly women who died in the water. Chen said that this evil spirit had a very serious grudge, and it was not easy to deal with it. Yin Weining said that this year's day of exorcism is somewhat suspicious. Everyone should be more careful. Suddenly, some man called out to them, "Stop!" He asked them if they believed in ghosts. Min Ning glared at him. Chen said that he was the ghost. The man screamed, "How is this possible?" and began to slowly disappear. Yin Weining said that he immediately recognized the ghost that scared Ruan Zhan from the Jin dynasty to death. Could it be that he had heavenly vision? Chan explained that he had read historical records and knew that Ruan Zhan did not believe in spirits and demons, and once argued with a guest. That guest, unable to out-argue him, directly revealed his true demonic nature and scared Ruan Zhan to death. Yin Weining said that since he had such a good memory, he should definitely go with her to Mount Taihua to cultivate. She said that it was not safe to stay here. We needed to go faster. They moved on. Suddenly, Yin Weining stopped them. "Wait, it seems there's someone ahead." Chen peered into the distance. A strange figure appeared there. It was Asura. Yin Weining said that Asura had one face, 3 eyes, or 3 heads and 6 arms, and that this Asura also showed signs of the 5 declines of the Celestials. Min Ning asked what they should do. Maybe it would be better to run away. Chen thought, run. Was it in vain that he read the game walkthroughs and said that he could handle it? Yin Weining asked what he was going to do. Even those who had achieved perfection in Taoism from Mount Taihua found it difficult to subdue Asura. Chen approached Asura and said that he looked like he was suffering. He was not a celestial, but was forced to endure the torment of the 5 declines of celestials. Asura asked why the mortal decided so. Chen replied that it didn't matter. What mattered was that he knew the source of his suffering. Asura said, "Repeat," and emitted a powerful, pressing aura. Min Ning could hardly bear the pressure. Chen said that the pain in his heart is avidya. Asura asked what avidya was. Chen replied that avidya is the moment when the previous thought has just faded away, and the next one is already born. He, Asura, knows very well about the cycle of the 6 worlds of samsara, but he is afraid of his own decline and death. He clings to life with boundless passion, and does not wish to enter into the cycle of the six worlds. This desire for life is avidya. Asura muttered, Avidya, avidya, avidya. Yin Weining was surprised. He could actually discuss the Tao with Asura. Asura pounced on Chen and shouted, Tell me how to break out of the cycle of suffering. Chen said with difficulty, Indra, Triratna. Asura asked again, Indra Triratna. When Indra faced the five degenerations, he went to meet the Buddha and took Triratna. His former appearance returned to him. He attained the fruit of Buddha. Asura said, when Indra faced the sea of suffering, he had Buddha. But where is his Buddha? He was Dharmapala for Buddha, but he did not appear. Chen asked him how he knew he was not Buddha. Asura muttered, He is Buddha. He is guiding him through the sea of suffering. He knows the source of his pain. Therefore, he is Buddha. Yin Weining was stunned. Could he really be guiding Asura onto the path of enlightenment? Suddenly, a bright glow appeared in the sky. A round golden object the size of a coin appeared next to Chen. He thought, Sharira, and squeezed it in his fist. The pure gold Sharira is one of the best rewards in the Prayer Yard dungeon and is ranked among the top 5 in the entire dungeon. Yin Weining said incredulously, Asura, whom even those who have achieved perfection in Taoism have difficulty subduing. He did so easily. Has his heavenly eye really opened? She asked Chen if Min Qianhu wanted to become her Taoist partner, and if he agreed, she would forget about his insulting words. Chen said he was asking for forgiveness, but his real name was Chen Baihu. Yin Weining asked indignantly, What? Chen said, He is the 1,000th man of the Western Cheng Baihu factory, nicknamed Zun Ming. Yin thought, it is him that her father wants to kill. She pointed at Min Ning and asked who she was, and she replied that her name was Min Ning. Her middle name was Yuechi. Yin Weining said, No wonder. She immediately felt a deep connection with the Tao. Chen asked if immortal maiden Yin still wanted him to be her Taoist partner, and she replied that he was impudent to treat a Taoist with disdain, to claim that there are no spirits in the world, to destroy the true essence. Such a sinner deserves death. Chen said with a grin, She's really going crazy. Why didn't she get so worked up in the White Flower Tower? Yin Weining declared that the villains do not know the laws of the Tao, and now 300,000 Scarlet Demon Soul Killers will punish them. Heaven sends demons of pestilence to send 72 diseases to kill the wicked. She screamed that the villains must be taught a lesson and rushed at Chen, but Min Ning grabbed her from behind and shouted, Stop! At this time, Chen received 90 rewards and 5 years of true chi from Yin Weining's negative emotions. He said that she was so overcome with emotion. Why grab a sword, especially a wooden one? You can scare away spirits with it, but you can't kill a person. Yin Weining stated that she always separates good from evil and does not intend to kill anyone. She just wants to teach a lesson to such an impudent person like him. Chen said that since she had already taken up the sword, no one cared whether she wanted to kill or not. Besides, there was a relationship between them. After all, he had saved her life. Yin Weining replied that there was no longer a relationship between them. Since the moment he deceived her, he had committed the sin of disregarding the Tao. Chen suddenly poked her with his finger in a few quick movements. Yin Weining froze. Min Ning asked, He just blocked her points. Chen ominously stated that he would not only block her points, but he will also take off her clothes. Min Ning thought that this guy still hadn't gotten rid of his debauchery. Yin Weining said that she was Jing Wang's daughter. Shameless scoundrel, don't. Her underwear will be visible. Chen said that it would be even better this way. She has a pretty figure. Yin Weining shouted, Wait, she can tell him one secret. She will exchange it for her freedom. Chen asked what the secret was, but she demanded that he unlock the points first. He unblocked her points and said that he hoped she would not act rashly. Yin Weining said that the Taoist does not lie, but this does not mean that she will tell everything. He can listen, but not ask questions. She heard that on the day of the demon expulsion, Jing Wang's residence was planning to kill him. Yin Weining added that she had nothing to do with it. Suddenly, footsteps were heard and someone's voice apologized for interrupting their conversation. The man with the sword said that he, Kuang Liu Qing, an 8th-generation hereditary disciple of the White Willow School, was glad to meet the 1,000 Man. Chen asked Yin Weining if she knew him. But she replied that she was a secluded person in the palace and hardly even knew the maids. Chen shouted at Min Qianhu to take the immortal maiden to the back door. He would catch up with them soon. This man was dangerous. Huang Liuqing said that Jing Wang ordered him to kill him in a couple of days. But someone figured him out, so he decided to try his luck. He has nothing to fear. He honors the brotherly code and will only kill the 1,000th. He doesn't care about the rest. He will even throw in some money for his funeral. Chen muttered, "How caring." Min Ning told Yin Weining that she needed to leave quickly. He would handle this himself. Huang Liuqing shouted that there was enough chatter and attacked Chen, but he blocked his blow. Chen said he wanted to kill him, but would he have enough skill? Huang Liuqing said that if he doesn't want to die too painfully, he had better take this blow with humility. Chen parried the blow, and he asked if he really thought he was a kitten that could be manipulated as he pleased. Huang Liuqing said that then he shouldn't blame him, and he dealt a new blow to Chen. He said, "Isn't it easier to stand humbly and submissively wait for death?" Chen responded by saying that he talked too much. The fight between them continued. Huang Liuqing struck hard again, but Chen dodged it. Huang Liuqing said, "Good movement technique. Excellent swordsmanship. He has great talent." At his age, he couldn't even hold a sword properly. Chen said they weren't finished yet. He had one last appointment left. Huang Liuqing asked, deciding to pull an ace out of his sleeve. Chen said that he would only make one attack, and if he remained alive after that, he could safely take his life. Chen said, "Look carefully." Huang Liuqing replied, "Come on, let him enjoy the battle." Chen directed all his energy into his legs, and suddenly, with one jerk, he rushed off into the distance. Huang Liuqing looked after him, dumbfounded. He screamed fiercely and decided to run away. Imperial Palace. An elderly maid reported that in many places in the capital there was complete chaos. Many alchemists had already taken to the streets to cleanse the districts. The Empress Dowager asked why Demon Expulsion Day came so early. In previous years, it was on October 30th, and it happened so suddenly that no one noticed it beforehand. The old woman asked if she wanted to say that this was someone's conspiracy, and she replied that the Astronomical Bureau should deal with it. Chen ran quickly through the streets of the capital and thought about how Huang Liuqing had sword technique, but lacked the refinement of his movements. He had fought him from the very beginning, only to stall for time for Min Ning and the others. This time should have been enough for them to reach the Eastern Gate. There are still people from Ding An's party in the Eastern Factory, but the Western Factory was created by An Ho. There is definitely no one there. Min Ning will most likely run to the Western Factory. Min Ning heard a suspicious sound and swung her sword, asking who was there. Chen intercepted her hand and said, "Don't be afraid, it's him." He said he came to make sure they were safe. Min Ning asked if he was injured. Chen replied that it was just a minor internal injury, nothing serious. Yin Weining noticed that he wasn't dead. Chen stated that of course he wasn't dead. He still needed to become a Taoist partner for the immortal maiden. She asked if he knew that he had again shown disrespect to the Taoist. Chen said that the immortal maiden seemed to be reluctant to become his Taoist partner. Yin Weining replied that he was not the Golden Boy. She explained that in the Taoist tradition of Mount Taihua, the Golden Boy is assigned to the Jade Maiden, and the Jade Maiden is assigned to the Golden Boy. Chen hugged Min Ning and told the immortal maiden that she was his. She can't take it away from her. Yin Weining was outraged by such unbridled behavior. Her negative emotions reached 80. Chen thought that 3 more years of true qi had been added. Now, all that was left was to wait for the little fox to recover. Yin Weining said that this was completely immoral, and she would not stay here any longer. But Chen stopped her and said, "Wait." Yin Weining asked what he was doing. Chen said that her father wanted to kill him, and besides, he was also wounded, and she, as his daughter, had to somehow compensate for this. Yin Weining reminded that she had already said that she had nothing to do with this. Chen said her words were meaningless. Yin Weining said that she only had one treatise on alchemy methods with her, whether he took it or not. Chen shouted greedily, "Give it here." He said that, with a treatise on alchemy, one can prepare pills, nourish the body, and train bones and tendons. He is very pleased with her gift. Yin Weining asked. Now he let her go. Chen said that yes, she can go. Min Ning told Chen that his wounds were still not healed and she would apply some ointment. Chen informed her that today he was unable to defeat this Huang Liuqing from the White Willow School. He was at least a 5th-rank warrior. Min Ning said that she had one technique that might help him in battle and offered to teach it to him. Why should she teach him? He shouldn't die. She needs him. Chen asked with a smile why he needed her. She replied that she needed help investigating her grandfather's death. Her father suspects that something is wrong with this case. She has no friends in the Eastern Factory. Only him. Chen thought that this girl rarely asked anyone for help, and said that he would help her with the investigation. Min Ning said that according to the laws of the martial arts world, if he wanted to learn, he would become her true disciple and she would be his teacher. Chen asked. She wants to become his teacher, but it is impossible. He won't become her disciple, not because of some moral principles. He doesn't care about them, Min Ning asked. Then why? Because he has only one teacher, Zhou Yitang. Min Ning asked. The swordswoman is from Yinjian Mountain. But then why isn't he on Yinjian Mountain? Chen answered because he often contradicted the teacher, and in general, he was the one who betrayed the teacher. He thought that in the first save, he already had grievances with her. She saved his life. In order to learn her sword technique, he became her apprentice. But then fate played a cruel joke. The savior turned into an enemy. Min Ning said he was a little tired and suggested they talk about technology later. Yin Tingshui was in her room. Chen came to her and said that he had returned. She asked if he was wounded. He demanded that she kiss him, but she tried to avoid him. Chen asked if she wanted to be properly punished. After all, she is a concubine and she should be more active. Tingshui kissed him. Chen said he was tired and asked to lie down with him. Tingshui suddenly asked to take her to pray at the Temple of 1,000 Lanterns. He asked why. She replied that she wanted to bow. They had just reached the place where the rituals were performed. Chen asked. That's the only reason. Tingshui explained that she missed the Silver Altar Temple. Her mother always said that she was the daughter of the temple, so she wanted to see it. Chen said he would take her there tomorrow. Min Ning was waiting for Chen at the threshold of his house. When he came out with Tingshu, she greeted him, and he asked what she was doing there. She reported that an order had come to investigate the case of the Day of Pacification of Demons, and the deputy manager had appointed her as his assistant. Chen said that he was going to the Temple of 1,000 Lanterns, and asked if she would go with him. She said that the horses were ready. Temple of 1,000 Lanterns. People began to gather at the temple. Chen and the girls stopped at a tea house at the foot of the temple. He asked Tingshui if she felt anything when they came here, and she replied that she remembered something from the past. Min Ning asked Chen if he definitely didn't want to learn her technique. He replied that it wasn't that he didn't believe in her talents, but he had never seen her use it, and she promised to find a way. Meanwhile, on the street, a huge man with a sword was dispersing the crowd and saying that today no one would take the first incense from him. People were outraged that he was cutting in line, but the big guy easily scattered several people. The crowd said that this was the leader of the Beihai Rakshas gang, Li, who had killed several merchants last month and shouldn't be messed with. Chen declared that such people deserved to die and asked Min Ning if she could try her trick. Min Ning told him to watch carefully. She landed right in front of the bandit and said that if anyone was causing trouble, the Jade Guard was obliged to behead him immediately. Rakshasa Li looked at the girl gloomily. He stated that there were also his brothers among the Jade Guards. Min Ning repeated, if anyone causes trouble and draws a sword, the Jade Guard is obliged to immediately behead him. Rakshasa Li stated that he would fight her then. Min Ning said she would only strike him with her sword once, and if he could withstand it, he would live. Rakshasa shouted, "Stop talking!" But his head had already flown off his shoulders. Exclamations were heard from the crowd. What kind of sword technique is this? What terrifying power! The bandits wondered what they should do now. They needed to take the leader's body. Chen, who was watching the fight, said that this move was really good. Min Ning asked if he wanted to learn it now, and Chen asked where she learned this technique from. She replied that after many years of training with the sword, she had mastered it herself. Chen asked her to teach him, but Min Ning frowned. He didn't want to become her disciple. Chen said that he was helping her investigate her grandfather's death, so she should consider it payment. Min Ning replied that she could teach him, but he had to promise not to touch her older sister for a year. Chen said that a year was too long, and besides, what about her? Min Ning replied that if he didn't touch her sister, she would try to accept him. Looking at them, Tingshui thought how much he loved hugging girls. A human figure appeared in the doorway. Chen asked him who he was. He greeted him and said that his mentor wished to meet with Mr. Chen. His mentor was the chief keeper of the sutras of the Pure Tao School, Fei Yuan. The priest brought Chen into the hall and said that the mentor was waiting for him here. Fei Yuan said that he finally met Mr. Chen, who asked why he was looking for him. The chief guardian said that he was investigating the reason for the early arrival of Demon Expulsion Day, whether he knew when this day appeared. It's all because of, someone's voice said, external heavenly demons. Another voice asked, Teacher Zhou, who are the outer heavenly demons? Zhao Yitang replied to the empress, demons and monsters that do not belong to this world came from beyond the three worlds. The empress said, that is, the cause of evil thoughts and a bunch of dark energy in the capital is this external heavenly demon. Who is he? Zhou Yitang said, there are so many outer heavenly demons who can answer with one word. The advisor explained that the external heavenly demon was just a general name when, along with the Buddhist teachings, demons from India also came. The empress said that she understood. A homing pigeon appeared in the sky. Min Ning beckoned him towards her. Shen asked if this was her sister's letter, and she was surprised that he had returned so quickly. Chen said they only discussed a few issues and it didn't take much time. Min Ning said that this letter was for him and handed it over. Chen read that evil demons had appeared in the village of Huaishui, west of the capital, and the 1,000-man had to exterminate them. Such was the will of Elder Lin. He said, it seems that ever since the Empress gave the administration a scolding, it has decided to come under the wing of the Lin faction. Min Ning asked if he still wanted to learn that move. Chen replied, of course. The basis of this strike is, firstly, that at the moment of the attack there should not be a single thought in the heart. Secondly, to correctly grasp the flow of the movement of true qi, along which meridians it should flow, the inner essence. This is the true meaning. Min Ning said, let's see how much he can understand. Chen received a message that he had learned the shattering winds, slashing rain from Min Xianghu. In spring, to crush. In summer, to cut down the rain. In autumn, to kill the leaves. In winter, to blow away the snow. The true meaning has penetrated the heart. The crushing wind, cutting rain technique has reached absolute perfection, with 130 years of true qi remaining. Chen said, excellent. He swung and delivered a powerful blow. Min Ning asked where he learned this move. Chen replied that he learned it from her. He simply perfected it. He stated that since he had learned her blow, now it was necessary to talk about her grandfather. As far as he remembered, her grandfather was involved in the Chancellor's case. Min Ning said that 12 years ago, First Advisor Zhang advised the late emperor on a method to achieve immortality. The late emperor ordered her grandfather to lead the Jade Guard to find several immortal potions. When Zhang brought the immortal medicines, all the dignitaries suddenly turned against him, accusing him of wreaking havoc in the court. First Advisor Zhang fell, and her grandfather was also affected. But her grandfather was not supposed to die. He was benefiting from Advisor Zhang. But at worst, he was supposed to be dismissed from his position. Later, her father tried to get to the bottom of this matter, but suddenly drowned during one of the missions. 2 months later, her mother, unable to bear the grief, followed her father. Chen asked. Her grandfather brought the medicine, but the emperor executed him. If the emperor did not gain immortality, then the medicine was fake. Min Ning replied that she didn't know, which was why she wanted to get to the bottom of the truth. After this matter, Elder Lin entered the inner cabinet, became the second advisor, and gradually formed the Lin faction. Min Ning asked Chen, he wasn't from the Lin faction, right? He replied that maybe he was from her faction. Chen said that now was Demon Expulsion Day, a time when the line between the living and the dead was blurred, and she could ask her grandfather. Min Ning reminded her that her grandfather had died, so how could she ask him? But Chen said that his soul could be summoned. The girl was indignant. Calling the soul is black magic. Ting Shui asked if they were leaving. Chen said yes, but she shouldn't worry. He would tell her to take her back. Min Ning noticed that the note said that evil spirits had appeared in Huaishui village, and her grandfather was buried not far from this village. Chen took her hand and said that they were leaving now. The two of them arrived at Huaishui village. Chen said that there was once an ancient battlefield here. Min Ning said that her family had a lot of money confiscated at the time, so they didn't have enough to buy a good grave for her grandfather. A voice outside the window of one of the buildings said that someone had come to visit them. The old Taoist said that even he could not defeat the ghost general. Min Ning said to Chen, Go ahead. He asked what to start with. Min Ning said that he himself spoke about summoning the soul, but Chen replied that he was not a Taoist. How could he summon the soul? The girl got angry. The great deceiver. Then he told her about it in order to deceive her. Chen noticed one of the buildings. He said he felt some movement there. An old man appeared behind them. He ran up to them shouting, "Don't go in there under any circumstances." Chen said that he was a 1,000-man from the Western factory, and by order of the emperor, he had come to investigate the case of the evil spirit's work. The old man said that there is nothing here. They are simple people living in this village. They have not seen any evil spirits. Chen demanded that the gates be opened and they be let in. But the old man declared that strangers were not allowed to enter the ancestral temple. They would not be able to withstand what was inside. Chen asked if he dared to disobey the imperial decree. Stake knelt down and asked them to come back. He begged them not to destroy them, not to destroy the village. He was joined by other villagers who promised to collect some silver and rice for them as a token of respect if they left. Chen was surprised. Who were they so afraid of? One of the villagers ran up to them and shouted to the village elder that he had brought immortals. The elder became furious. Whoever he brought here, he wants to destroy them all. But the residents said that they were real immortals. Immortals from the pure Tao school. Looking at them, the headman sighed with relief. They really are immortal. Seeing Yin Weining, Chen was surprised. Why did she come? The immortal said that the gentlemen officials had better return. The atmosphere of Yin and Sha here is very heavy, and they won't be able to cope with the demons and monsters. Chen arrogantly replied that if they stayed, they would only be a burden. Yin Weining said that the officials had something to rely on, especially the taller one, who was a master at exterminating demons and evil spirits. The headman suggested, "Let's go in first and take a look." The villagers opened the door at his command. Yin Weining told Chen that he did not have the ability to see the heavenly path, and he asked if she would become his Taoist partner. Yin Weining's negative emotions reached 90. Chen received 5 years of true qi. When the door to the temple opened, everyone saw 2 tied-up children there. The immortals stated that sacrificing children is the method of demons who did this. The headman asked the Taoist chief not to be angry. The villagers did this out of stupidity. They would let them go right away. Chen said that sacrificing a live bull was illegal and not meant for human consumption. The immortals said that legs and swords cannot harm ghosts. This place is more dangerous. The gentlemen officials had better leave quickly. But Yin Weining said that since Chen could manage the Eastern factory, he had the means. Maybe he wanted to test his strength. Min Ning asked Chen if he was confident he could handle it, but he said he really didn't know how to fight ghosts. Min Ni was indignant. Then why is he standing here so confident, as if he is not afraid of anything? Chen told her to just watch. The headman suddenly fell to his knees and shouted, "Great General, have mercy! This old fool is blinded by greed. He has forgotten about kindness." The immortal watched what was happening with bewilderment. The elder began to strangle himself while asking for mercy. One of the villagers ran up to him. He tried to tear his hands away from his throat, but he couldn't overcome the enormous force. A huge crack appeared across the elder's mouth. Ming Ning asked what it was. Chen replied, "The realm of the ghost general." The immortal said, "Yin energy is corroding the world. The ghost realm has already formed. Fellow Taoists, form a circle for protection." 3 ghosts appeared from the ghost general's area. The immortal said, "The foundation of heaven and earth, the progenitor of all energies, golden light appear, cover and protect my body." One of the ghosts rushed at him. The immortal shouted, "I command!" But the ghost had already begun its attack. The immortal shouted, "Thunderer, help me!" The ghost was suppressed and a cry was heard, "Destroy it!" The ghost was attacked by a joint attack of Taoists. The ghost woman, watching what was happening, spat contemptuously. She rushed at the immortal, screaming, "Damn Taoist, I'll kill you!" He received a serious blow. He said, "What a fierce, murderous breath." The immortal began to read the spell. "The infinity of heaven and earth." He borrowed the universe's power, he shouted. "Borrow!" The ghost froze in confusion. She screamed, "No!" The immortal said, "Now," and prepared to finish off the ghost. However, one of the warriors suddenly attacked him, shouting, "Die!" and struck him with a sword. The immortal tried to dodge, but he was wounded. The warrior froze and whispered, What have he done? The immortal screamed. He was possessed. The warrior swung his sword again. Yin Weining came to his aid. She shouted, "Show yourself, evil spirit!" And she hit the maddened warrior. She shouted, "Big brother, hold on, stop the bleeding!" Read the mantra to calm the heart. Protect Big Brother's meridians. Someone's heavy footsteps were heard from inside the building. The ghostly General Deng Ai appeared and said, "Whoever dares to disturb the peace will die." Yin Weining said, "Sacred treasure talisman, protect me and cut off evil." The ghost general declared that they would all become his terracotta warriors. Chen said. Finally, the owner came out. One of the Taoists said, "Elder sister, elder brother is seriously wounded. Now everything depends only on her." The ghostly general does not dare to enter. He is afraid of her. Yin Weining thought, he was afraid of her. Why does it seem to her that the ghostly general is looking at him? Minning pleaded, "If Chen Baihu had any way, let him use it. Otherwise, they would all die here today." Chen said that they don't know the essence. His name is Deng Ai. During the Three Kingdoms era, he was a human and died because of Jiang Wei's plan. The world believes in sacrifices. Those who make sacrifices will find happiness, and those who do not make sacrifices will face misfortune. Deng An became a deity to be worshipped. Yin Weining whispered, "This is a Buddhist treasure. What pure light power." Chen stated that immortal maiden Yin's fellow brothers seemed to need help. If she asked him, he would save them. But since the immortal maiden is unwilling, he bows out. Yin Weining said that he is taking advantage of someone else's misfortune. Voices were heard. "Divine maiden, elder brother is dying. Sister Yin, give way." With a heavy heart, Yin Weining agreed and said, "Okay." She spoke loudly. She, Yin Weining, was begging him to intervene and destroy this demon. Chen stated that what lay before them was one of the manifestations of this ghost, and he had many ways to deal with it. He asked Anaya if he remembered his old acquaintance, and he showed the ghostly general a picture of a warrior. He looked at the picture and said, "Jiang Wei." Chen shouted. It was time to act. The embodiment of the warrior from the picture appeared, who declared, "Deng Ai, old debts are not forgiven. How dare he do evil in the world of people?" The ghost general roared. Jiang Boyue. Jiang Boye's incarnation attacked Deng Ai. A fierce fight ensued between them. Someone whispered, "What a force!" This is the battle between the ghostly generals. Yin Weining watched the fight in amazement. Soon Chen said, "It's all over." The immortal warmly thanked Chen for saving their lives. Sen told the immortal maiden that he had saved her this time, a favor she should remember. Yin Weining replied that he was a shameless scoundrel. The villagers emerged from their hiding places, saying, "The ghostly general has been defeated. These officials and Taoists have won." Min Ning reminded Chen, "This matter is finished. Now about her grandfather." Chen turned to the Taoists. He had saved their lives today. Would the pure Tao school do him 2 small favors? The immortal asked what exactly he wanted to ask for. Chen replied that he had 2 requests. The first was to help with the summoning of the soul. The second is to borrow the heart instruction of the Pure Tao School for their review. The immortal said that the heart's guidance is not passed on to outsiders. Such a request would put them in a difficult position. However, a drop of kindness is repaid with a flood of water, not to mention just 1 instruction. If Mr. Chen wanted to visit the Sutra repository of the Pure Tao School, it would not be difficult to arrange. With these words, he threw the scroll of instructions to Chen. Chen thought with satisfaction that he had finally gotten it. Now he had 7 techniques. It's just a pity that the heart instruction of the Pure Tao School is the same technique as yin-yang. To practice it, you need to infuse primordial energy. But after thinking, he said, why should he infuse primordial energy? Can't he just practice it? Like a Taoist? Yin Weining said that the elder brother is currently injured, but she can do a soul summoning for him where the ritual needs to be performed. She was brought to the grave of Min Ning's grandfather. She began, "Oh, soul, come back. Don't go to the heavenly heights." Other Taoists picked up the idea. "Oh, soul, come back. Don't go down to the underworld." Soon Yin Weining said that the ritual was completed. It would take about 2 days. Chen thanked her. 2 hours later, they returned to the capital. Min Ning said that they would come back to see it in 2 days. She told Chen that he could come back. Suddenly, some child ran up to her and said that she had a letter. Min Ning gave him some coins. He thanked her, handed her the letter, and ran away. It stated, "Do not investigate Chancellor Jiang's case again. This matter affects many." Left by the Yuqiu estate for Lady Min. Chen explained that the Yuqiu estate was now the property of Prince Jing, but had previously belonged to Zhang, and they had defected to Jing to save themselves. Min Ning said that this matter affected many people. It was better to wait until her grandfather returned and then decide. But Chen didn't agree. If her grandfather saw that she was scared by just a warning on paper, would he tell her the truth? Behind the head of the estate stands Prince Jing, his son Feng Luo, the adopted son of an unnamed old woman who is listed in the Magpie Tower. The nameless old woman has many adopted children. One less is not scary. Besides, she would not dare to kill him. Ever since that attack, he had long wanted to check out the Yuqiu estate so they could solve two problems at once. Chen was lost in thought. Of the three main demons in the prayer courtyard, Deng Ai had already been destroyed. There remained the prince with the donkey's head and the evil Jiao, as well as the last one, the progenitor of the foxes. He must meet Zhou Yitang as soon as possible. He must definitely treat her better in this life. Yuqiu estate. The assistant reported that the letter had been delivered, but Min Qianhu did not react in any way. Apparently, she was scared. The head of the estate said, "The chancellor's case has long been decided. Even the Lin faction does not dare touch it, let alone some minor boss." His son remarked that he had heard that the man was gifted in martial arts. The chief replied that youth is hot-blooded and knows no bounds, and that such people are the easiest to kill. A family of 3 generations would perish because of this matter. The assistant confirmed that such a minor official was not even worthy of crossing the threshold of their estate. The chief asked how the latest batch of goods was going, and the assistant replied that a large batch had already been unloaded at the port and was heading to the estate. The head asked his son who he thought was stronger, him or her. The son replied that he was a student of the head of the Magpie Tower, and that she had no school or teacher. No matter how good she was, she could not defeat him. Chen and Min Ning arrived at the gate of Yuqiu Manor. The guard shouted, "Strangers with weapons, move away immediately!" Chen said that there was a dog barking there. Let him go and sort it out. The guard replied that what business did he have with a dog barking? Chen asked, "Then why does it matter to him that he came with a weapon?" The guard shouted, "How dare he?" But then Chen's men appeared from behind the trees. The guard said dejectedly that they had come prepared. Chen received information early in the morning that goods were being unloaded at the Yuqiu estate today, and in order to catch them red-handed, he had to break in. He shouted that the Eastern factory was conducting an investigation and that it was forbidden to interfere. The guard asked for permission to report, but Chen replied that if he reported, then what would they investigate? Chen gave the command to his men to move forward. The security guard tried to stop them, but Chen shouted that anyone who dared to obstruct the investigation would be immediately beheaded. Then Min Ning stepped in and cut off the guard's hands. Chen shouted, "Destroy them!" His men stormed the estate. The head of the estate shouted indignantly, "Where did the Jade Guard come from? Who dared to search his Yuqiu estate?" A servant ran into the hall and reported that it was the 1,000 man from the Western factory. He came with Min Qianhu and many guards. They surrounded the estate. The chief ordered that people be sent immediately to warn the pier to stop unloading. As for the goods that have already been brought to the estate, we must not allow evidence to be found. We must gather all the people and fight. Chen killed another estate guard. He declared that the Jade Guard would administer justice, and anyone who stood in the way would die. Another fighter said they wouldn't get through, but a sword whistled in front of Chen and cut off the fighter's hands. Min Ning smiled sweetly and said that this time he would owe her. Chen was indignant. Why did she always have to cut off people's hands? But she replied that she was simply following his example. A menacing cry came from the palace. "Chen Baihu, you bastard! Die!" The head of the estate jumped out from there with a spear in his hand and attacked Chen. Chen, parrying the blow, said that he was looking for just that. He swung his sword and struck back. The son of the head of the estate rushed to his aid, but Min Ning blocked his way and declared that she was his opponent. Chen told the chief that no one would save him now, so he should meekly accept death. He hit him with a powerful punch in the face. His son shouted, Father! Min Ning asked if he really had time to be distracted and carried out a strong attack. Chen stepped on the head of the estate head and ordered, "Arrest them all." The subordinate reported that everyone had been detained. Min Ning asked Chen what they said, and he replied that they all confessed, and they were indeed smuggling 5-stone gunpowder. The head of the estate said, "Traitors, feeding from someone else's hand." One of Chen's men kicked him in the head and told him to shut up. The head of the estate asked how he dared to attack the prince's people, even dared to search the Yushu estate. And then, probably, he would get to the Jing Principality. Chen said he was too noisy and ordered him to be shut up. The head son declared that he was a disciple of the Magpie Tower, which angered him and his father, who came in person. If he dies, the nameless old woman who sits in the imperial palace will not remain on the sidelines. Chen said that for the sake of the nameless old woman, he would not kill him. But his father will die today. Chen cut down the estate head with one blow of his sword. His son sobbed. "Father," Chen said, so that he wouldn't come back for revenge later. "He will cut his tendons." Chen then ordered his men to take him away. He told his subordinates that Feng Ying did not give up until the end and died in battle, and his son, Feng Luo, did not abandon his evil intentions and his tendons were cut. The subordinates replied that they understood everything. Chen said, "Great. When he returns, he will write a report and ask for them all to be rewarded for their services." The prince asked in anger. He dared to search the Yushu estate. The servant said that he had been informed about a search at the Yushu estate, and he immediately informed him that the people there were mainly people from the Western factory. The prince asked where the people he had sent had gone. The servant replied that the same one had sent them to kill the 1,000-man from the Western factory. Of the 15 Jade Guard, only 5 survived. The rest are afraid to act rashly. Seeing that the prince's face had changed, the servant rushed towards him, shouting, "Your Highness!" He kicked him and shouted, "Get out!" The servant said, "He kicked, and rightly so. What can you expect from him, as long as His Highness doesn't get hurt?" The prince said that he was no slouch, and ordered to call Huang Liuqing to set up an ambush for him. If everything goes smoothly, he will give him a couple of liang of silver. Jingren Palace. The Empress Dowager said, "Teacher, he sealed the Yuchu estate." The old woman replied that she had already heard about this from her spies. The head of the Feng estate was killed after his arrest, and Feng Luo became crippled. She was indifferent to the first Chen, but she felt sorry for the second. After all, he was her adopted son. The Empress asked what the mentor intended to do about this, and she replied that she would wait for instructions from her. The Empress said that Chen Baihu's skill was growing very quickly, and according to the rules, it was time for his name to be entered into the register of the Astronomical Bureau. The old woman asked, "Your Highness, should we send someone to test the skills?" She replied that it was a good idea. The manager read that after the search of the Yushu estate, a huge amount of 5-stone gunpowder was confiscated. Chen was in big trouble this time. Chen came up and asked. The general manager called him. He replied that there were more than enough denunciations with accusations against him. The entire palace of government was filled with them. Why didn't he consult with him? Chen replied that it wasn't that he didn't trust him. He was just afraid that the walls had ears, and he wouldn't be able to catch him red-handed. The manager said that was also true. But does he know that this time it is not only Ding An's people who are writing denunciations against him, but also Senior Master Ding Lin? Chen replied that of course the search was not Elder Lin's order. The manager said that this incident opened his eyes. Previously, he considered him a bribe taker and a good-for-nothing who couldn't be put to work. Now he understands how wrong he was. His eyes are no better than blind ones. The manager now told him to properly handle the matter of the day of the extermination of demons. The Taoists say that the reason is the outer heavenly demon. If he gets to the truth, then who will dare blame him? The manager handed him a map of the capital's demons and monsters sent from Mount Yinjian, on which the places with the heaviest accumulation of yin and sha were marked. On Demon Slaying Day, yin and sha are especially difficult, and demons and monsters wreak havoc. Ghost General Deng Ai, the weakest of them. The donkey-headed prince is said to be the son of Wu Zetian from the Tang dynasty, who was abandoned at birth and turned into a demon ghost. There is another one at the pier of the northern shore. He is a descendant of Sagara, the king of dragons, the protector of the 1,000-armed Guanyin. He will turn into a dragon. Besides these three, there is another monster in the prayer yard, the fox ancestor of the Tushan clan, the wife of the great Yu and the mother of Xiachi. The manager promised that if by that time he had found out everything, he would report to the higher-ups and ask for a reward. Before Chen left, he wished him luck. Minning asked Chen who this outer heavenly demon was. Maybe he was somehow connected with the Chancellor's case. Chen advised her not to think too much and said that she should go and continue her investigation. They walked along the streets of the capital. Suddenly, Minning noticed a familiar aura. Chen said that he felt it too. He asked loudly who was there. A man appeared and introduced himself as Yu Su, the true heir of the 5th generation of the White Willow School. Chen asked. Prince Jing sent him. He replied that not quite. He once tasted bread at the Yuchu estate, so he was working it off. Yu Su declared that he had to kill him within the time of 1 incense stick. But if he couldn't, he would apologize and give him 1 technique. Min Ning said that he was too strong and suggested that they attack together. But Chen replied that he would do it himself and that she would only get in the way. Yu Su, drawing his sword, said that he would only give him 1 chance. Let him try to take his blow. He swung, and he struck a powerful blow. Chen tried to block, but his hand loosened and the sword fell from his hands. O was thrown far away, Yu Su asked. And that's all the 1,000-man can do. He will kill him in 3 hits. Chen prepared to defend himself. He used the Tsangshan fist. Yu Su asked what kind of technique it was. It was quite powerful. Chen recalled that there had already been 2 appointments, the last one left. Yu Su stated that if he can bear it, then he will give up immediately. And he made another attack. Chen dodged the blows that rained down on him. He asked if he really thought he could beat him with his speed. Yu Su shouted, "Die!" And he delivered the finishing blow. The sword jumped into Chen's hand and blocked Yu Su's attack. At this, Yu Su's sword was destroyed. He exclaimed in surprise, "How is this possible?" He asked Chen where he learned this technique. Chen replied that this technique has a long history. In short, he came up with it himself. Yu Su said that Chen had won and he would fulfill his promise. He threw him a scroll and shouted, "Take it!" He also said that he asked who sent him. It was the Empress Mother herself, Lady An, who ordered his strength to be tested, Chen thought. The Empress Mother sent a man to test his skills. Does this mean she is going to use him? The Empress Dowager was conversing with an unnamed old woman when a servant entered and announced that Lord Chen was requesting an audience. Chen entered the hall and said, "I greet Madame An. I dare ask why she called him today." The Empress said that she heard that he conducted a search in the Yushu estate. It seems that Elder Lin treats him very generously. Chen declared that everything he did was only to ease the worries of the imperial house, and that neither Elder Lin nor Shu nor Li had directed him. He added that the imperial house rules the world through the sage. Even without an order, he was obliged to seal the Yushu estate. The Empress said that this was well said, so she gave him free rein to take up the Chancellor's case and investigate it. Chen replied, "Okay," and thought that Madame An had really decided to deal with the Lin faction and, at the same time, rein in Ding An. We need to take advantage of this, and, in the process, set up the Principality of Jing. The Empress said that everything he would do from now on would be on her verbal command, and that from now on he should call her Mother Mistress. One word from Mother Mistress will ensure him a peaceful life. If he has no more questions, then he can go. She hopes that he will not disappoint him. Chen thought that the Empress Mother had instructed him to investigate the Chancellor's case. She was clearly pushing him into danger. But at the same time, by investigating it, one can try to destroy both the Lin faction and the Jing Principality. As Chen approached his house, he heard a loud scream. He rushed forward. It seems something had happened to Yin Tingshui. He burst into the house shouting, "Yin Tingshui!" She squealed loudly, and she jumped onto Chen's shoulders. Chen asked what happened. Tingshui shouted that there was a rat. Chen asked her if she was scared of an ordinary rat, but she replied that it was not an ordinary rat. Suddenly, a huge rat jumped out from under the bed at them. Chen covered the girl with his body and shouted, "Be careful." He looked in surprise at the creature that rushed at them. The rat tried to attack in a jump, but Chen struck her down with a sword strike. He reassuringly told Tingshui that it was all over. She noticed that he was dirty. Chen told her to take off his clothes and help him wash himself. Tingshui was a little confused. Chen said that this would be her gratitude for him saving her life. Tingshui agreed. Good. Chen grabbed her hand and offered to wash together. but she asked him to let her go. Chen declared it was part of the punishment as he pulled her into the bath. Tingsue said bitterly, "Why would he need this? He still loves Min Xianhu." Chen asked what he said. She asked him not to deceive her. She saw him and Min Xianhu. Chen replied that although she was beautiful, he liked Yin Tingsue more. He thought that it was a great pity that he had little true qi left. Otherwise, he would have. Yin Weining said that all these days, while she was performing the soul summoning ritual, she had been haunted by anxiety. There is one last day left. She hoped that nothing would happen. Suddenly, she felt some movement near the grave. A gust of wind hit her in the face. Yin Weining asked what was going on. Is this really an invasion of the seventh soul? But she cultivates the highest oblivion of feelings. Is it true that she has forgotten all feelings? She asked who was here. Suddenly, Yin Weining saw her figure next to her and asked, "Is she her third soul, Yujing? Why did she appear? Isn't it only the dead who see their Yujing?" The soul replied that she was already dead. Yin Weining said that she was summoning the soul of another. She was cultivating the supreme oblivion of senses and was on the path of longevity. How could she die? The soul said, "The highest oblivion of feelings, the path of longevity." But did it really forget all feelings? The bustle of the world has touched her heart. This Chen has already disturbed her inner peace many times. Her oblivion of feelings is just a pretense. The soul ordered the servants who appeared behind her back, "Take her away." Yin Weining screamed that it was not true. She's not dead. It's just a hallucination. Her name is not yet in the book of life and death. There is still a chance. You just need to return to the true oblivion of feelings. Yin Weining crawled on the ground and suddenly saw a sitting figure in front of her. She asked, "Who are you?" Yin Weining stood up and tried to come closer. The seated figure replied, having comprehended the secret. Yin Weining asked, "She is the one who has grasped the secret of the sword and can cut off the 6 worldly dust particles. Zhou Yitang, the sword mistress. The younger one welcomes the mystery that has been revealed and asks if it will tell her how to get out of here." Zhou Yitang said, "Doesn't she know herself?" Yin Weining asked her what she meant and asked her to enlighten her. Zhou Yitang's figure slowly began to disappear. Yin Weining screamed, "Don't go! Take her out of here!" But she had already disappeared. Yin Weining wandered away and suddenly came across a strange tombstone. It was written on it, "Yin Weining, wife of Chen Baihu." She said, "It's all fake. Once she gets out of here, everything will return to how it was before," and she moved on. Suddenly, she found herself in some strange hall and heard a cry, "Save me!" Some man screamed in horror, "Don't come closer." It was Prince Jing. Chen Baihu approached him, swinging his sword. Chen struck the prince's head with a sword blow. His head rolled off his shoulders and onto the floor. She stopped at Yin Weining's feet. The soul said, "You see, he not only stole her Taoist partner from her, but also killed the entire family of Prince Jing, and she can't do anything about it. She also helped him summon souls, helped him do evil, and someday he will also deal with her family." Yin Weining repeated, "This is all not real." The soul asked, "Not real?" And she wondered why exactly such visions appeared to her. Why, oh why, doesn't she know? The soul said, "Wake up, it's all because she's afraid. Afraid of him." Yin Weining asked herself, was she afraid of him? Suddenly, a rooster crowed, and Yin Weining's soul began to slowly dissipate. The student asked Zhou Yitang if the teacher had decided to grant her enlightenment, but she replied that everyone attains enlightenment on their own, but she still helps her. But why? Zhou Yitang replied, "To rid her of the 3 root vices that hinder her on her path." Chen ordered Min Ning to send out 2 pieces of news. First, the 1,000-man leader of the Western factory sealed the Yuchu estate in order to investigate the Chancellor's big case. Min Ning asked, "Have you gone crazy?" But Chen replied that he knew what he was doing. The second news is October 31st of the 3rd year of the Yellow Dragon's reign. The Western factory's 1,000-man will come out with a sword to cut down the evil Jiao. Min Ning was horrified. What? In the capital, they condemned the news. They heard that the boss from the Western factory was going to chop down Jiao. Why was he getting involved there? And what were the Taoists doing? The other day, he sealed the Yushu estate, beat up the Feng father and son with a couple of tricks, and now he is a well-known figure in the capital. The student asked Zhou Yitang why he was doing her work. He's just an ordinary thousand man. No one will believe that he's capable of cutting down Jiao. Another student suggested that he was spreading rumors not to scare away the snake, but on the contrary, so that this Jiao would feel safe. Zhou Yitang told her to stop guessing and let her make some tea. Principality of Jing. The prince asked. He was going to investigate the chancellor's case. Who gave him such impudence? The advisors replied that if he was taking on this, it meant that someone was behind him. Probably the Empress Mother herself. The prince said irritably, "This woman from the An clan has gone crazy. Where has she put the honor of the imperial house? She doesn't even have her own son and heir. She doesn't belong to the imperial family at all." The advisor replied, "The late emperor clearly said that he would ensure His Highness's safety until the end of his days. The emperor is not joking." The prince told Elder Shu that this was the biggest joke of all. Another advisor said that Elder Shu apparently did not know all the circumstances. In the 26th year, the late empress mother went to Chunbo Temple, but died there of illness. The emperor observed mourning for 3 years. Elder Su claimed that he knew all this, but he doesn't know that the empress mother went to Chunbo Temple at the suggestion of Prince Jing. As soon as the chancellor's case is reviewed again, the empress mother will certainly strip the prince of his title and exile him to the common people. The chancellor's case does not now affect the late emperor, and does not affect the imperial family, but it will hit the prince, who will be stripped of his title. The prince said that they needed to act quickly. This Chen was going to cut down Jiao. Let him cut down. They would strike at that very moment. A few days later, Chen was traveling on a boat along the river. He said that today was the day he would cut down Jiao. Suddenly, there was a splash nearby. A man appeared in front of the boat and said, "Chen Bai Hu, long time no see," Chen exclaimed. Huang Liu Qing. He said that last time that blow really impressed him, but now the river was blocked. He couldn't escape. Chen said he had one more blow in store. Huang Luqing said he hoped he would not disappoint him again. He shouted, "Take this," and struck. Chen dodged the blow. He stated that his sword technique had not improved at all, and he rushed at the enemy. His sudden attack sent Huang Luqing flying backwards. He said it was a good blow, and it had only been a few days. It looks like he's gotten even stronger. Chen said that he hadn't hit him with his full strength just now. He was just testing him. So he used his own strength and threw him away. Bubbles appeared on the water. Chen said that Jiao would now go into the water. He shouted, "Let's finish him off quickly," Huang Luqing said with a laugh. "Okay, the path just doesn't run away like last time." Chen assured that he would not disappoint this time and struck. Huang Luqing exclaimed, "What kind of sword technique is this?" And Cheng was immediately cut in half. He only managed to say that this couldn't be. Chen received an official message. Huang Luqing was killed. Chen received 70 years of true qi, he said with satisfaction. 70 years of qi, not a bad catch. 2 more people appeared on the river in boats. These were the false deities of the gate, Chen asked. 2 more 4th ranks have arrived. They replied that he had killed Huang Luqing and was probably already tired. And now, against the 2 of them, he would no longer be able to give it his all. So today, he will die. Chen thought they were trying to wear him out. One of the attackers shouted that he would not leave, and he tried to get it with a sickle on a chain, but Chen dodged. While defending himself from the attackers, Chen thought that these 2 were stronger than Huang Luqing. Suddenly, 2 monsters emerged from the river. They said, "Enough fighting! The Dragon Lord is going to walk on water. Let them go fight somewhere else." One of the gate guards asked, "I haven't become a dragon yet, but I'm already the Lord." The monster was indignant. When he walked on water, he would be a water deity with a court rank, and he dared to show disrespect. The gate guard shouted, "Die!" and he tried to get the monsters with his strange weapon. They began to run, asking the Dragon Lord to save them. The gatekeeper watched them leave. Chen asked where he was looking as he stabbed him from behind with his sword. Another guard shouted, "Bastard!" and he rushed to help his comrade. Suddenly, a dragon appeared from the river. Chen rushed at the remaining guard. The dragon intervened in their fight. The dragon's blow fell upon the guard. Chen took advantage of this and, shouting "Die!" attacked the guard. After eliminating the guard, the dragon shifted its attacks to Chen. Chen thought, "So much time has passed, and the one who promised to cut down Jiao still hasn't come. Suddenly, a powerful attack fell upon the dragon. This is Zhou Yitang arriving. Chen was delighted. It was her. Zhou Yitang entered into a fierce battle with the dragon, and soon, the dragon was defeated. Chen was amazed. What power! He thanked Teacher Zhou for her help, but she replied, "It's nothing." Chen said that she saved his life and he would never forget it. He thought, "She is still so cold." In a past life, he broke her sword and took her as his wife by force. Then she swore that he would die a terrible death. Now she pretends that she doesn't recognize him. It's probably better this way, less suspicion. Chen called out to Zhou and asked him to wait. She looked at him questioningly. Chen said that she saved his life, and he asks permission to at least introduce himself if his help is ever needed. His name is Chen Baihu. He is a 1,000-man of the Western Factory. Zhou Yitang responded that it was not a beautiful name. Chen was surprised by this answer. Zhou Yitang thought that he had really changed. And besides, he doesn't recognize her. A group of people were discussing the news that Chen had killed Jiao. The young man, Donggong Ai, noted that this was unexpected. And the girl, Donggong Ruo, said that it was a coincidence that his last name was also Chen. Donggong Ai asked if she really thought he was their distant relative. Donggong Ruo replied that since he was able to cut down Jiao, perhaps he was proficient in both martial arts and Taoist techniques. Donggong Ai asked an elderly woman, his grandmother, if he had any weaknesses, and she replied that he loved beautiful women. He suggested that we should then send the main hetera from Pure Heart to him. The elderly woman replied, "It's no use, it's too dangerous. She won't agree." Dungunzo said that then she would go to him herself. When Chen entered the house, he said that he had returned. Ting Sui was embarrassed when she saw him. She asked why he didn't knock. She was just about to. Chen perked up. She was going to bed. Ting Sui nodded affirmatively. Chen declared that he would sleep with her today. He's in a great mood today, so he will eat her tonight. Ting Sui said, "No need. She is not ready yet." And then, but Chen closed her mouth with a kiss. He climbed onto the bed, and he said that he told her that he would eat her tonight. Ting Sui groaned. Chen leaned over her. She asked him to be more gentle. When morning came, Ting Shui was still fast asleep. Chen said that this girl was obviously completely exhausted last night. He received a message that, thanks to the yin-yang technique, by connecting with the enemy and becoming a Taoist partner, he received 2 primordial particles as a reward. Ting Sui finally woke up. She said, "Master," but Chen interrupted her and told her not to call him master anymore. Ting Sui asked, "Then how?" Chen replied, "As you wish, husband, spouse, master, anything will do." He declared that she was now his woman. Ting Sui agreed. She said, "Let her husband rest for now, and she will go and cook something to eat." Chen said, "She got into character so quickly, great." He decided that now was the time to get down to the techniques. After 20 years of labor, you have mastered the secrets of alchemy. And now, the Scarlet Treatise on Pills holds no mysteries for you. You have achieved perfection in it. Chen said, "Another technique. Not a bad catch, but we still need to get hold of some Taoist spells. Otherwise, neither the crazy old man Lin nor that very same fox ancestor from the Tushan clan will be defeated when she appears." Chen wondered if this was a talent tree. If you pour true qi into one of the talents, you can get it. So which one should you choose? Chen thought for a long time and finally made a choice. He decided to open the remaining meridians. Now all the meridians are open, but he still has 1 more primordial particle left. He can choose another talent, manipulating objects with qi, or in simpler terms, telekinesis. Moving things without even touching them is a talent he enjoys. Ting Sui said as she entered the room, "Hubby, breakfast is ready." Chen said that after he had eaten, he would drop by to see the general manager. An hour later, he arrived at the place. Chen entered the hall and called out, "Chief Manager." He greeted him warmly and congratulated him on his ability to kill Great Jiao. But Chen replied that he was not the one who actually killed him. But the chief manager said, "What nonsense? His feet is already on everyone's lips. The Empress Mother wants to see him. We need to go to the palace." Chen tried to object, but the chief manager led him along. They came to Jingren Palace. The Empress Mother said, "Is he really capable of cutting down Jiao?" The nameless old woman asked, "Her Highness doesn't believe it. If he could slay the dragon himself, One would think that the Jade Emperor had come down to Earth to endure the trial. There is definitely some great master behind him. The old woman whispered, "This great master, the mistress of the sword from Mount Yinjian. Her sword will can still be felt in the waters of the river." The Empress Mother asked, "That same ninth on the list of warriors, the sword mistress who comprehended the secret, Zhou Yitang." The old woman replied that Zhou Yitang had the makings of an immortal. She was capable of cutting down a dragon, but she cut it down for him. What kind of relationship do they have? The Empress Mother said, "What should she be afraid of? Chen Baihu has a deadly poison in his body. No one but her can cure him. He won't go anywhere." A servant came in and reported that the chief manager and Chief Chen had arrived. The Empress Mother gave the order, "Let them come in." Chen and the chief manager entered and greeted the Empress Mother. The chief manager reported that the whole city was already talking about the feat of the 1,000-man Chen, and he called on the Empress to reward him generously. The Empress Mother said that this was truly impressive. Let the Lord 1,000 tell how it all happened. Chen began to speak. "Your Highness, indeed." But the chief manager interrupted him and stated that being overly modest was already hypocritical. Chen said that the general manager was right. The Empress Mother noted to herself that he had fallen silent mid-sentence, realizing that he had blurted out something unnecessary, which meant he was definitely hiding something. She said out loud that he had saved them from this misfortune, for which she should reward him. But this was not the only misfortune in the Great Yu. A tiger lives in the forest, and at court there are corpse eaters. In the waters there lives an evil boa constrictor, which pretends to guard the peace of the country. The imperial house needs the Lord 1,000 to free them from these misfortunes. Chen said that the two plagues that the Empress Mother was talking about were clearly the Lin faction and the Ding An clique. He thought that she was clearly rushing him with the Chancellor's business. The Empress Mother told him to speak frankly, without embarrassment. Chen asked Her Highness to protect him and his family, and she replied that she would not allow any harm to happen to him or his family. Chen apologized and said he was simply intimidated. The Empress Mother has commanded. Then the path goes. She said to the nameless old woman, "What impudence! Not only is he hiding behind someone else's power, but he also decided to blackmail her." Chen said loudly, "Your servant is leaving," and left the hall. The Empress Mother said that he hesitated so much because he had no connection with the sword mistress. He just wanted to hide behind her name. But even if they are connected, so what? The mistress of the sword only comprehends the Tao, and the sword of the imperial house is from heaven itself. The Empress Mother said to the nameless old woman, "That woman from the Chen clan has already arrived. Follow the instructions, arrange a meeting for them." The chief manager said that the Empress Mother was in a good mood and had not forgotten his services. Chen replied that he needed to get down to business. The general manager asked what business. Chen said the Chancellor's business. How does he plan to investigate it? Chen replied, "We need to start with the officials themselves. Raise as much noise as possible and cut this knot with a swift sword." The chief manager said with alarm, "The Chancellor's case affects too many people. All the officials will go and complain about him." Chen said that this was all he needed. Lin's estate. Elder Lin greeted Prince Jing. The prince asked Mr. Lin to send away all the servants. He told them that they could be free. Lin asked if the prince would be so kind as to explain why the old man had the honor of speaking with him. The prince replied, "It's the Chancellor's business. There are rumors that the 1,000-man Chen is reviewing the Chancellor's case. Everyone at court is in a panic. Lord Lin cannot help but know about this." Lin replied that he had indeed heard that Chief Chen had reopened the Chancellor's case, but the Lin family had nothing to do with it. The prince asked whether Mr. Lin knew that the review of the Chancellor's case was the will of the Dowager Empress. After the destruction of the main branch, the An clan fell into decline, so the Empress needs administrators like him. But the An clan is gaining strength. Lin asked what the prince meant. Prince Jing replied that the Chancellor's case was not worth reconsidering as far as Chief Chen was concerned. Lin should rein him in, and if there is no other way out, then act in a special way, Lin said. "I obey." Prince Jing said that this should be finished. It was already late, so he took his leave. When the prince left, Lin asked loudly. He heard everything. Coming out from behind the screen, Chung said yes and thanked Mr. Lin. Prince Jing wants him to kill him. Apparently, he has significantly undermined his strength. When he ascends to heaven, He will not forget about him. Chen replied that he understood that the Chancellor's matter only concerned Prince Jing, but not Lin. Lin told Chen that he should discuss this matter with his son. He was the smartest of the brothers, and he would be the one to rule the clan in the future. The blonde woman thanked Zhou Yitang for instructing her student today. She added that she apparently had this plan in mind 10 years ago. Zhou Yitang thought that if we were to count, it all started in her past life. The woman with blonde hair said that there was another person who was bothering her. She would like to take her as a student on behalf of her teacher. Zhou Yitang asked who, and the woman replied, the daughter of Prince Xiang. Zhou Yitang asked her interlocutor why her, and she replied that perhaps she had heavenly hearing. This pure and undisturbed knowledge of the divine faculty of hearing. One who achieves perfection will be able to hear all the sounds of the world. Zhou Yitang asked why she thought she had heavenly hearing. The Tian Shan celestial seer predicted that she was the reincarnation of a bodhisattva, and according to hexagram readings, she was still in the capital. Zhou Yitang and his sister went out onto the balcony. From there they saw Chen, who told Ting Sui that there was a poetry meeting at the Lin family's house today, and suggested that they go out and have some fun. What does this mean? How did it happen that she lost her virginity? The servants greeted the guests and invited them to attend the poetry meeting. Chen greeted Mr. Lin's son and said that they hadn't seen each other for a long time. He greeted him in return. He asked who was with him. Chen replied that it was his wife. Lin said that then the lady should take a stroll in the garden with his wife, and let the 1,000-man Chen go with him. Lin's wife invited Ting Shui to follow her. She took her to the garden and said that the view here was very good, and Mrs. Chen could enjoy it at her leisure. But she still has things to do, so she will leave her. A boat appeared on the river, with Zhou Yitang standing on it. She made an inviting gesture to Ting Shui. Ting Shui thought, who is this woman? Why did she beckon her so mysteriously? The boat docked, and Zhou Yitang told her that this time she was not the holy maiden of the Black Devil sect. It's somehow unusual for her to see that she is not involved in murders and the destruction of entire clans. Ting Sui asked who she was and why she was looking for her, and she briefly said, Chen Bai Hu. Ting Sui asked if she had come for revenge, but Zhou Yitang replied that not quite. She had to cut off his vices.